Well, then let's get started with episode 270. My name is Tim. I'm here with Kyle. We murdered Dan. He's gone. So
That's right. It's digital crime.
we had enough, you know. We
He's
like a
not
lot of his
Final
opinions
Fantasy
on
this,
things.
Final Fantasy
Yeah,
that. I was just over
yeah,
it, man. Yeah. Ugh.
same. And then the bashing of the tactics games was too much. That's really what it was. That
Yeah,
was
that happened
that
off.
was
That
rough.
that that's a little insider baseball. That happened off
That's
screen,
true.
but we have since excommunicadoed him, as in
That's
just
right.
killed, just murdered.
That's what that means. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's Latin for murder. That's what
Latin
that means.
for murder, old fashioned murder.
So yeah, Dan is out this week. Hope you feel better, buddy, and we'll see you on the next one. Spoiler alert: most of us are just still playing things we've already talked about in the last several episodes. So the good news is there's not like some major new game that we're missing out on new impressions on. It's kind of a quiet week on the release front. Not a super quiet week on the news front. We'll get to some of those uh, things here shortly, but thought we could start it off with, and I actually don't have a sizzle reel of things. I was just going to talk through some of the games that I did see that are out this week. Again, not a lot, but a couple that are, I thought, kind of notable just in terms of, like ports, for example. Forza Horizon 5 hitting PlayStation. That was a pretty big deal.
I
It's on
heard it's
PS5 now.
selling really well too.
Oh, is it really? Doesn't
I
surprise me.
heard. Yeah, and the numbers came back for Indiana Jones, and like that sold really well. Like this is working out for
Good.
them. It
Good.
seems like so.
Yeah, maybe that's why they're
Um,
raising the price of their consoles. We'll get to that
yeah, I
later
guess we'll
too.
get to that later.
Yeah, Forza Horizon 5 is out on PS5. I imagine it's going to look, it already looked amazing on the Xbox and on PC, and I am guessing that on PS5 and probably PS5 Pro, it looks fantastic. So, Forza
I
Horizon
do
5
it.
is out. I
It
love
does
that
tickle.
game. I love it.
Same here. It's one of my favorite racers ever. I think we
Yeah.
ranked it really high the year that it came out
We
as
did.
well.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just a fantastic game, and I'm glad that PlayStation's finally getting a chance to play it. But also, it is kind of weird that like the best way to play Microsoft's game is on either PC or the PS5 Pro,
It's true.
not on
That's
their
a good
own
point.
native.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, they
But
should have
yeah,
made a better
it's cool.
console, I guess.
And good job, Sony fans, for not being like a stick up your butt, being like, "I'm a Gran Turismo guy. I'm not gonna buy
Right.
no, you know,
Right.
Microsoft racer." Like you guys were missing out, and y'all have a great racer now, and y'all are
It almost
showing up with
sounded
your
like you were
wallets.
going to
So,
say they finally can play a good racing game
oh
or something
no,
like. I
I
was
would
like,
never.
"Oh
No, those
god."
Gran Turismo people are crazy. I can't make such a line in the sand.
And hey, let's be honest, you've put a good amount of time into those Gran Turismo games and enjoyed yourself.
More than Forza, but only because I've just been playing them longer. That's the only reason why.
And maybe there's a element of the sim aspect to it that just is a time suck for those games.
Yeah, a lot of it. I mean, I don't spend a lot of time doing it this way. I know a lot of it's tinkering for a lot of people, and I will just like take
Yeah.
people's tinkers from online and like do that. And that takes a little bit of time just to copy tinkers. So, yeah, I
Mhm.
mean, there is a lot
Yeah.
of just like looking at menus and being like, do I want to wash my car right now? Like there's
Yeah.
just a lot of ridiculous
It's a good
stuff.
point. Yeah, it's a good point. Yeah, so I was looking at the rest of the games that released. They're really, I mean, it's pretty much all smaller games. Stuff like Exorcist Simulator, which I think is what it sounds like, where you are probably a priest who is doing exorcisms, I would imagine. Something like
Hmm.
that. Um, there's a couple other cool games out, or they look like they could be fun, like Ratopia, where you're building a little, rat city. It's like a little city builder type thing underground. Um, Star Vaders looks cool. You guys could give that a look. The only other one I thought was worth calling out is this one called Kyborg. Um, it's just got this really cool old school beat 'em up 3D platformer look to it. I don't know if it actually plays that way, but it looks like a Bionic Commando double A type of a game. So Kyborg, Kiborg.
I
What
was
that
just
look
trying to
like?
spell it. I'm like, how do you say
Yeah,
that? Yeah, that does look
yeah,
really cool.
yeah. It looks pretty fun. So, but other than that, it's been pretty quiet. Not a lot of major games released that I know of, and I was even just now, as we're talking, skimming back through the list to see if there's anything I forgot. There's a port of Fragpunk that hit consoles that was on PC already, and then all stuff I've really never never heard of or don't know much about. So yeah, kind of a quiet week on the releases, which is fine by me because I
Yeah, I
have
mean, I'll be
plenty.
honest. If I hear that Exorcist Simulator has like chores and stuff like to do, like other simulator games, I'm in.
I'm
but
so in.
I'll
Yeah.
have to look into that one a little more. Yeah.
Just give me
You're
some
like cleaning
exorcism
your like
chores.
crosses or like whatever. You're cleaning. I don't know.
Press
Like
X
just
to
give me,
refill the salt container, like
please. Yeah. Oh yeah. To bless water, press. And you have to like go
bless the
around. I
water,
don't
that's
know.
right.
Give me that.
You gotta iron your robes. You gotta do that too.
Yeah.
You gotta iron up.
Absolutely. You can't walk out
Yeah,
with an unironed robe. What are you nuts?
exactly.
Demons are gonna make fun of you.
Oh man, the simulator games. It's so funny. I think they're running out of simulator games, but right when I think that, they always release something new. Like, oh,
I
it's
know.
a
I still have my eye on that theater, the movie theater
yeah, me
one.
too. There's a couple movie ones.
I
There's
just
even like
wanted
a
to get a
there's
couple updates in.
yeah,
I know those games are so
smart.
janky when they first came out, but yeah, I want
Very
to check
smart.
those
There's
out.
even like the vampire bar one where you like are serving up blood to vampire. Like I always think they've run out of ideas, but they haven't. They
No,
all
there's
exist.
you could sim anything, and you know what? And I'm gonna be there. I'll be there to
I'm in
sim it.
for it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So we've done this a couple times where we rearrange the order of what we chat about, but since there aren't really any new games to talk about, give our impressions, it's still fun to dive in to talk about what we are playing if there isn't a new thing. So let's start with that, with stuff we're playing, any updated thoughts on things we're playing, what our experience is so far, and um, I'll kick us off with that and just say I was able to play about an hour and a half, 2 hours maybe of Valheim with my son yesterday. He's gotten back into it with his
Oh,
friends, and his buddy wasn't online last night, and I was like, I'll play with you. So we picked up an old world that we had built a long time ago and just hadn't gotten very far in. So we were playing some Valheim together, which was always it's really fun with other people too, of course, because crazy
yeah.
stuff happens. Enemies are tougher. You get raided. I was just peacefully trying to organize things in our little bins before going back to a copper node to get more metal. And he comes running in, and there's a huge group of Grey Dwarves just following him, chasing after him to attack him. And I was like, "What is happening?" And he was like, "Yeah, I forgot to tell you, they're chasing me." I was like, "Yeah, I can see that." So he brought his own raid with him. That was nice. Appreciated
Heck
that.
yeah,
But
delivery raid.
delivery raid, yeah. So it's a good time. I think that's still a really fun and visually impressive game. I really do think it does have a weird sense of pixels with crazy lighting and water effects all mixed together, and it's very interesting. I love the look of that game, but always love Valheim, of course.
Yeah, that game's great. Yeah.
Um, he's actually playing it again tonight, but with his friend. They're advancing the two of them play a few times a week, and they're advancing their world. I try not to be the actually try this. Like I don't do that just because I've played so many hours of it. But every once in a while, he does
Yeah.
ask me a question about it. So that's a good feeling as a dad. You're like, let me help
It
you out
is. Yeah,
with your
I
with
do
your
have that
games. You know,
information. Let me embark it to
that's
you.
right. Yeah, let me share my wisdom, son.
Yeah.
So
Sit down, son, by the fire. Let me.
so yeah, Valheim is always a good time. And most of my gaming time, though, I would say, let me just check on Steam. Is there anything else? I think I've mainly played Assassin's Creed. Oh, that's not true. That's not true. We'll talk about some updates that came out for some games here as well. So I will tell you. I'll give you some impressions on those. Assassin's Creed Shadows, though. Have you been able to spend much more time with this over the last couple
I'm
weeks, or have you kind of shelved
very
this one?
glad you said that because I haven't played in 2 weeks and I just picked it back up today for a couple
Did
hours.
you?
So yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Roughly, where do you think you are? You like halfway through the
I'm
game, 3/4 of the way? Are
I'm a
you like
half.
at the
I'm
end?
like 44% is what like PlayStation
Okay,
says, and I'm about
gotcha.
halfway through the main circle.
Okay,
I have been doing
okay.
so much side stuff though, so
I know. Yeah.
I had to stop. I'm just like, stop it. Like,
Stop.
get three more main dudes in, and then I'll
Yeah.
let you do side stuff again. You're allowed to do
How
side
do you
stuff
think
anymore.
the side stuff is in this game? How would you overall like
I
rate it?
like
I
it.
guess. Like, what do you think
There,
about the side missions in Shadows?
when I'm thinking about the side missions, the immediate one I think about is the one that we've talked about at nauseum here. Is like where you have to like kill that whole family or figure out. Like, I
Oh,
like that one
yeah.
a lot. But then there's just some stuff that's just like, I don't know, like time consuming, like fluff. You know what I mean? But I don't think one outweighs the other. I think like the second I get tired of like some of the fluffier stuff, like I'll find a really cool one with like a good story or it has some like good humor in it or something like that. So
Yep.
I like it, but like I know for a fact I'm not gonna like see all of the content in this game, and like that sometimes it's kind of frustrating sometimes, you know.
Yeah. There's a lot. I remember
This
we
does
were
not feel stripped back. Like
no,
when they're
we were
like, we
told it's
cut
a
it back a
smaller
little bit.
area to
Yeah,
explore, and
I'm
I'm
like,
like,
shut. It feels bigger.
Maybe.
I did something else today where another circle opened up, and I'm like, oh my god, I can't.
Come on.
I
Yeah, yeah,
can't,
yeah.
like,
But the problem is
another
they're
like,
intriguing, and I wanna take out all the
yeah,
pirates, and I wanna take all
yeah.
all the Iron Hand. Like I wanna do all the different things.
Yeah,
So
they do have a really
yeah,
good setup, and I wish some of them were more noticeably boring, so I could be like, I'm not doing that.
yeah,
But I do wanna do all the circles, and it's very
yeah.
addicting.
Same.
But I know I'm just not don't have time for it. This game's gonna
Mhm.
be like 100 hours by the time it's all said and done, which doesn't again feel stripped
Yeah.
back at all.
Yeah, my count on it right now is sitting at 58.
Wow, yeah, I
Um,
think I'm like at 34,
and
30,
I don't
30,
know how
something
to
like that.
tell on Steam at least how far I'm in. I've unlocked 48% of the achievements, but I know that's not necessarily main storyline, like indicative of the
How many
storyline
main
progress.
guys are you in? How many?
I have 3 left. It's funny, last week I had 4 left,
So you're a
and I've
couple ahead
only
of me.
killed
Yeah.
I've only killed 1 since we last had our podcast recording, but I've done
Hmm.
so much extra stuff and so much exploring.
Yeah.
I find myself using Now as we've discussed, Now to jump on the horse and go explore everything and climb everything and get all the viewpoints and get the chests you can't reach, and then using Yasuke to just destroy everybody.
Yeah.
If I don't feel like sneaking and stealth, by the way, sneaking and stealthing, it's back. It's super fun. I love it.
Feels great.
But sometimes you want to just run through a door and face everyone. Like especially with the Naginata, I unlock these abilities where blocking builds up a boosted attack. Your next hit,
Hmm.
every block that you do adds another 10% increased damage on your next attack, and it can stack a bunch of times, and then you hit, and it's almost a one hit kill. It's amazing. So
That
the Naginata is
I
awesome.
I can't decide that Naginata is my go to secondary, but I also really like the Teppo, the gun, and I can't
Yeah,
decide like what I want to like invest in, like points wise,
yeah.
because
I
I
love that
switched
you
to
can
both.
reset any one node at any point. You can just get the
I
points
like that too.
back and then go
Yeah,
after something else.
I do
Because I
like that
actually
a
wasn't
lot.
using the Naginata for a while. Once I got the big baseball bat, Lucille or whatever Negan
That's
calls it.
great too. Yeah, Lucille,
Um,
that's right.
once I once I got that, I used it primarily that, and then I sometimes switched back to the long katana, which is very cool. Always love that. But then there was the circle of targets that are really just students you're supposed to duel with from your old
Hmm.
sensei.
Yeah,
So one of them was you have to use a naginata. I'm sure the other ones. I think one of them you had to use a bow. I fought that guy too. So you have to use certain weapons sometimes in some of
that's
these
cool.
fights. So I just went to the skills screen and I just took everything off of the big baseball bat, put it all in the naginata, and then I was like, I kind of like this more right now, so I just left it there for now. So
Nice.
so yeah, I am having fun swapping back and forth between them. I will say, I the map is I think it's almost too big. It's because it's
Yeah,
very dense. There's a lot of like stretches. We talked about this before, where there's just mountains and forest, and it's kind of like, boy, this fog of war is a little annoying because I want to uncover it, but there's literally nothing in some pockets of it. But outside of those spaces, there's a ton of villages, temples, cities, and boy, oh boy, so many castles that you can
yeah.
discover and try to take over. There's a lot. There's so much to see. And then I just now finished uncovering a lot of the West Coast. I'm kind of working my way kind of back up the West Coast now. And now it's the southeast section that's pretty much still all fogged over for me. That's the last area
I
I need
haven't
to
even
go
been out
cover.
west yet. Like not like far, like northwest or
Yeah.
anything west that way. Like I'm working on northeast, and I'm seeing Oichi, who's like one of
Mm-hmm.
Yasuke's like contacts or whatever,
Yep.
from his past, and like that was far northeast, and going from where I was to where that city was just a
Yeah.
long stretch of nothing. So I really got
Yeah.
to test out that auto horse update finally,
Yeah.
and that
Yeah.
is amazing because that ride was great, but I would have been
Hmm.
super annoyed pressing up all the way
I
to like
know.
where I needed to
Yeah.
go. Like it's like
Yeah.
who has time for that? Because there was
Totally.
barely anything. Even if I went off the road, maybe there was some stuff. I think I ran past a couple things. I was like, I'll come back to that.
Yeah, there's
But
always
it
a
is,
Ronin on the road that wants to take you out,
which I
and
love.
sees
Yeah,
you. Yeah, which is
got a good
fine.
amount of money on them usually.
And then there's always these bandits that are like in the middle of robbing people, and you have that moment where you're like, do I care right
Yeah,
now?
and usually when you save someone, they'll give you like a rumor, and they'll put something on
Yeah.
your map. Hey, here's something over here. I do like all that stuff, but yeah, sometimes I'm like, I'm trying, just let me get there. Like it's so
Right.
far up there, like it's so crazy
Right.
how spaced out
That's the
some of this stuff
snowy
is.
area where you went, right? Wasn't it real snowy up there?
Yeah,
Or
I
does it
kind
depend on
of
the season, I guess?
it depends on the season, but like I was in a snowy area like just recently. That's kind of more north, you know.
Okay.
I think
Yeah.
now that I think it's spring just came in my game, and I think this game's supposed to take place in a year, so it's past. You know that one year in Japan where there was like 17 winters, you know.
I was like,
So
I've seen
this
so many
takes
seasons come and
that
go.
that this takes place during that year, Tim. I didn't know if
That's
you
the
knew that
year.
the
That's the year.
mini
Got it.
season
Okay.
year. Yeah.
Right. I've had so many of the season changes. I'm like, I don't think I'm supposed to be killing this much time. Now he's not getting older at all. Like no
Yeah.
one's aging, but it's fine, man. Video games, you know? Video games
Yeah,
be video
right. I
games.
don't care. I'll take 4
Yeah.
winters. I don't care. I
Yeah.
don't need it to make sense.
They don't seem to impact a lot outside of the visuals of it, as far as I can tell. Like there's no I don't notice an impact on your character's ability to do anything. It's not like you have a cold meter you have to change clothes or anything. It
No.
doesn't have anything like that.
I mean, it sound like it freezes over water, which I don't really use to hide in anyways. So, like
Oh,
it
yeah,
it
yeah.
takes something off, the map that I or the board that I usually don't even utilize. So,
There might be
I
other
don't
pieces. I haven't tried, like, if you army crawl, maybe it conceals you. I actually don't know in the deeper snow if it does that. So there's some things I haven't tried with it, but the
my
only
winter went by
difference
really
I
quick.
think is there are some optional enemies that only show up during certain seasons, and I'll tell you in the description,
Interesting.
like the little yokai, kind of the magical ones you're investigating for somebody.
Hmm.
There's at least one that only shows up in the winter season. So there's that. But anyway, I do like the little Tomb Raider things too, going through the caves. That's pretty fun. I think, of course,
That's
now
I
is the
just
way
did
to
the
go with
main
that.
like a kind of a main questy one,
Uh-huh.
where you just start learning about the like Assassin's Guild or whatever that
Okay.
came over. I was putting that off for a while because I'd gotten
Yeah.
that one a bit ago, and I was just like, let me go start that. And that's the one that was just like, oh, this is a whole mission
Yeah.
chain. I'm like,
Yeah.
great, but that's
Yeah. Kind of
interesting.
like
I want to know.
the
I
return
want
to
to know
that's
how it
good.
came over.
Hmm.
I want to know how that came over here and settled. And I'm sure her mom has a big part to play in like all of that stuff, and like you're probably gonna have a lot of like family history stuff. I want to see all those reveals. Like they don't
Yeah.
do a very good job, like we were saying earlier, of making me want to ignore anything,
Hmm.
um, which
True.
pads the heck out of this game, but in a good way. I mean,
Yeah.
I'd rather it be like long and fun rather than just
Yep.
like get over too quickly.
Yeah, I agree. It's interesting with Valhalla. The assassins storyline was really meager and
Hmm.
almost non-existent outside of Bazim being in your village. And the stealth elements were just really not strong. Same with Odyssey to an effect, although Odyssey did have a decent amount of the actual assassins and Templar lore, but not a ton. But it was there.
Yeah,
Origins, of course, did a much better job of that because it was the establishment of the order, so it made
yeah.
sense that they had to talk about it more. But this one's leaning back into it, and like you said, I like that a lot. It's connecting characters to it. It's got a history to it. You're finding these little hideouts. There's a character that you'll meet in, I think it's Harima or it's Tamba. It's one of the West Coast ones, and there's a connection there too with this with this order. Sort of. You'll see. It's really interesting. I like all that stuff. I'm like, cool. They're tying in the overarching Assassins Guild or Order thing to this. And there's another element because that doesn't involve Yasuke, right? That's all Naoe and her family and history and trying to figure that out. With Yasuke, there is something though that does tie to the overarching Assassin's Creed stuff. So as you progress the story, um, there is one of the main center characters. When you kill them, there's a Yasuke mission opens up, and you can go pursue some things. And
Hmm.
yeah, there's just I think there's a nice take on his part to play in this overarching Assassin's Creed timeline. That's not just he's this good-hearted absolute beast of a fighter who's helping the hero girl. He's not just that. Like he's got a bigger part to play, which I think is pretty cool.
I think we say every week that I'm shocked how engaging the story is and the characters are in this
Yeah.
game. Shocked. And I just don't think enough people are talking about it. Like I feel
Hmm.
like obviously the sales are reflecting that this game sold well, but like I wish I heard
Yep.
more people vocalizing like how good some of those nuanced like stuff is
Yep.
for the story.
And there certainly is nuance to it as you meet the characters. Like it's not very black and white. All the Assassin's Creed games, to their credit, they're not all perfect, but they're to their credit. they've over time have had some morally gray area between the Templars and the assassins and the good guys and bad guys, and I think they do a pretty good job of that in this as well. There's some of that, especially with some of the main kind of what's the main bad group called? Something Bakfu. I forget what they're called. But anyway, whatever that main bad group is called, the center circle,
Mm-hmm.
there are certainly some morally gray members that you're like, oh, am I supposed to just be on a rampage of revenge? Or is like, and as the game progresses, of course, now I also is questioning that too. So it's really good.
Yeah.
I think they
You're
did a really
saying
good
this is
job with this.
basically Last of Us 2. I hear you. Yeah, this is literally just Last of
It's
Us
the
2.
same game.
Yeah,
I
it's the
mean,
same game.
I'm looking at some screenshots I took of it. It's the same game.
It's the same game. Wow. Yeah, you heard it here first. Yeah, that is cool though. I like that. Yeah, Odyssey did a really good job. I thought of telling a really good story.
Yeah.
That was kind of around revenge and stuff like that as
Yep.
well. I guess Valhalla had a lot of revenge stories in these series, but they don't always
A
hit.
lot
Like
of
in Valhalla,
revenge.
I feel like they just never really committed to any one story in that game. It was just kind of just like Vikings
Yeah.
things happening for 100 hours.
Yeah.
Whereas like this feels, despite there being a lot of things, there feels like there's a focused nature to it, and everything kind of weaves into each other. Like you obviously searching down the Assassin's Guild stuff, learning more about assassinate, like your lineage, stuff like that helps you become a more confident assassin, like
Yeah.
in the context of the story. And it just I don't feel like I'm doing something just to be doing something in this game. I
Yeah.
think everything gets set up really properly for me to be like, oh, this is all part of a cohesive point in time and story and a lot of connectivity, and I like that a lot. And
I do too. I do
yeah,
too. So when you're using Now Way, what's your weapon of choice?
I always just use the swords until I get surrounded and I bust out the sickle and chain because
Okay,
it's
nice.
sick. I haven't really explored too much outside. Like it's been those two. I haven't really
Okay.
used. You have one that you favor with her?
I really like the Tanto, the little dagger. So like doing the dual wielding
Oh yeah.
with that.
Okay.
And it's almost like, it's dagger attacks type thing. So if you've ever played a game where you have different classes or different builds or layouts to use, this is kind of your dagger, kind of your
Quick.
rogue. Yeah,
Yeah.
very quick. And she does so many fast stabs, and the combos you unlock throughout that skill tree are really fun. And if you get one that builds up bleed or poison affliction, stuff like that, it's very satisfying because
Yeah, I
it'll
have a
build up real
crazy
fast
amount
because
of
you're just
like I have a crazy amount of those legendary Tontos that I'm not using at
yeah.
all. That I should probably just get to my level and try one out because I do like the sound of that, like quick stabs, and she's
It's
supposed
really
to be stealthy,
satisfying.
and like fighting
Yeah.
someone who has a sword, like with a little dagger. That's fun, like that's
It is fun.
very
A lot of
ninja.
dodging. I love the move where you can throw the Tonto at him and then you zip to him and then do a double stab on him. There's cool combos you can learn with it too. And then I love the double assassinate. That's to me that's one of the
Yeah,
coolest things. If you
I
have the
did
Tonto
unlock
and
that.
yeah, you can use a double assassinate, which is very handy, of course, all the time. So I use that one a lot. But then I like the regular katana as well. Some cool combos
Yeah.
with that. You can't go wrong with that one.
I
It's
do
a lot
feel
of fun.
guilty when I'm Yasuke also, and I'm like, get back to the katana, like you're a samurai, you weirdo. Like use the regular weapon. But I want to bash people's faces in with that dumb baseball bat. I want to slice people's
Yeah,
arms off the naginata.
you want to
Like I
shoot them?
like all the weapon. The bow feels great. I like to shoot
Yeah, the
them.
bow's
Like
cool.
it's
Yeah.
just it is fun, and like there's just not
That's
enough
the
points to
closest
go
thing you get to
around.
stealth with Yasuke is if you start sniping them from a distance with the bow.
Yeah,
Because the Teppo, that's a gun, they'll hear it right
I
away and
guess.
come
Oh
attack you.
man,
And
yeah,
it's really cool. It's got that gun has some really cool abilities and combos you can do with it. But the bow is the one where you can snipe them from a distance if you can pick them off and not let them see each other. It's pretty satisfying to kind of clear things stealthily for a little while with him before you charge in and take on whoever is still standing. So
that's
so
cool.
I like that. I like that there's options there. Yeah, I'm really digging this game. It's clearly one of my favorites of the year, but I'm determined not to let my interest in some of these other really awesome games that have launched. I'm determined not to let that ruin or I guess kind of fast track too much my enjoyment of this one. I want to
Hmm.
see it through the way I would normally want to play it. So that means
Yeah.
I've got two more main areas to really dig into on the map, two more like provinces or whatever. And then three more main storyline things to tackle. And then Yeah, then it's time to move on to Expedition 33, I think. I think that's the next one.
Nah, no,
So,
you know you have 30 hours of endgame in that in Assassin's Creed
oh my
to
gosh,
finish
you're right.
it.
You're right.
Yeah.
It's
There's
true.
some Red Dead Redemption 2 epilogue that you go and
Oh,
become a
oh
farmer,
my
I'm sure, or
gosh.
something stupid like that. So,
I know. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
even though it
Hey,
was
actually, you can
awesome
go
in Red Dead.
explore all of Greece from
Yeah,
Odyssey
yeah,
with Noway.
yeah. You
Go.
jump on a ship and just go to Greece.
What?
Yeah, I don't want it.
Yeah. Yeah. So no, I'm loving it, man. I'm kind of glad the noise around this game, like, it just needed to release. They needed to release a good quality game, and they really did. And
Hmm.
in my opinion, everyone just kind of shut up about it. It was like, "Oh, your game's good. Well, then I don't care anymore." Like,
It
that.
did. It was very like, hey, the proof's in the pudding. Here it is. Like you
Yeah.
really can. Obviously you could scream about it if you wanted to, but like
And I'm sure some people
it's
still
out.
do, but as you and I have
It's
talked,
out there.
we don't live in those spaces. We kind of try to
Not
stay in a
really.
more, yeah,
Yeah.
in a
I
space
know,
that
I know
won't
what's
make us
out there.
sad every day.
I don't need to
Yeah.
check in on that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Little bits of it will seep through, and that's enough for me. But like, no,
Sure.
the noise is almost non-existent. I feel like
Yeah.
people bought and played this game, and I have heard that some people are like kind of falling off of it quick, just because maybe like the loop isn't just like keeping them. But it seems like that's the case for a lot of Assassin's Creeds. Like people just kind of fall off of them halfway
Yeah.
through.
Not surprising
I
at all.
I lost a little momentum, but it was only because I have gamer ADD, and I'm like, "Ooh, new game! I'm gonna go play this." Oh,
And some
Expedition. Let
stuff
me
that
play.
you've been really eagerly anticipating as well. I know you wanted
Yeah.
to try some
So
stuff. Hmm.
but like it's still. I mean, I picked up and played a couple hours a day. Like Assassin's Creed's always kind of a long-legged journey for me, where I'm just kind of peppering
Yep.
gameplay throughout the year. So,
Yep.
and I like it enough where I know I'm gonna beat it. So it's not gonna get backburned for me.
Nice. Yeah, that's good. I mean, it still has, generally speaking, positive user reviews on Steam, and that's, whenever you have user reviews for big corporate games like this that have a lot of cultural and political conversation around them, whether or not it's fair. In this case, I actually, now that I'm playing, I don't think it was fair for that all to be dragged in, but we are where we are. It's fine. It is
Mhm.
what it is. But the overall reviews seem relatively positive, upper 70s, lower 80% kind of range. So it's not bad. It's not bad.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with this. I actually there's part of me that also doesn't want it to wrap up because I'm having so much fun. I guess the reality is I could probably keep playing it throughout the rest of the entire summer and still find more stuff. There's a lot to do. There's a lot to do in this game. So yeah, I'm absolutely loving that one. The other one that I'm playing just got updated. It's funny, as I opened up Steam to look to see what else I was playing, they have another hotfix out already, which is great. That means major update came out. They've already rolled out one hotfix, and here comes their second one. They're trying to just fix, when you roll out a major content update for a game, all the things that you tried to anticipate are probably taken care of, and then there's a huge list of things that you didn't anticipate, like, oh, that's broken. Okay, so they're fixing things, which is great. But this is No Rest for the Wicked
Mm.
from Moon Studios. The game is about a year and a month old and in early access, and I know I played it last year and talked about it. I love it. I think it's really cool. Weird art style with the big orangutan arms and kind of smaller legs. My one of my twins, Thad, came in with my shoulder and he was watching me play for a minute. He goes, "Do none of these people do leg day?" I was like, "Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it." Yeah, that is what it looks like. But yeah, they released this major update on April 30th called The Breach. And The Breach is really their first major content update at all for this game. Now, they've had another one called The Crucible, which was mostly improving and adding to their end game loop. It didn't add much in terms of single player story or content or anything. It was, they added a bunch of gear and improved a bunch of things and made the end game a little bit more compelling. But other than that, they haven't added a lot. The game feels like Act One of probably three, if I had to guess. I don't know if it's going to be how long it's going to be. But the breach, it from what I've heard, it somewhat doubles, close to doubles the amount of areas to explore. So it's a lot of
Oh,
new environments and a lot of new enemies. There's bosses in each section, new enemy types, a bunch of new weapons, and they've kind of streamlined some of the systems. So I noticed that right away. By the way, you do have legacy saves, but you can't play the new content with them. So you can like keep playing your old stuff on the old version of the game if you want. But any of your characters and gear and everything else, it's all been reset, rebooted. That's early access for you, number one. But also
Yeah, it's got to be
when you roll out an
expected, and they
update like this, it's
communicated
going to do
that.
that.
I don't even play
They
this
did.
game, and I know that the devs communicated that. So it shouldn't be a
Yeah,
surprise if you're paying attention.
exactly. Exactly. It is on sale right now, by the way, I
I know.
believe.
I still want to snag it because of this update.
Yeah, I think
Is it true
it's.
that they made it a little harder? Is it a little tougher? Is that kind of the buzz?
I'm hearing some of that. I actually, so I hadn't played it in probably 8 or 9 months, so it's been a minute since I've played it. And yeah, I died a couple of times. I was like, oh yeah, this game's I forgot this game's a little tougher. And I just have to remember blocking, and I'm really bad at I forgot, okay, parrying. I'm bad at parrying in this game. I'm just gonna do a lot of dodging and blocking. So it took me a minute, but then now I'm in the groove and it's not too bad. It
Yeah.
is a tough game though, generally speaking. It's hard. Like it's not an easy. There's elements of the FromSoft games that like they're difficult, where each enemy, each like even standard enemy is not to be trifled with. They can hit hard, and if you're not careful, they'll kill you. So,
Mm,
and they don't usually hit you with swarms of, here's 20 enemies coming at you. Usually you're going to
sure.
have anywhere from one, maybe four if you're unlucky or bad at kind of hiding yourself a little bit. You might get up, and that's hard. It's hard to take on more than two for sure at a time. So, but they did add some new, weapon types that I think some things are more streamlined in terms of the way gear works, the way the weight works. But all the stats seem pretty familiar to me. The idea, again, from those RPGs, especially from soft games, but other games do this too. You get a weapon type, and over time, as you level up, you pick what stats to really focus in on, and that's kind of your class that you're building. You don't pick a class, but your stats determine your class in a way, and then that'll scale with some weapons. So, right now, I'm doing dexterity and faith as my main kind of stats because I have some spiked clubs, and I'll get some other weapons that scale with those stats, and they do a lot of damage that way. So yeah, it's that type of it's pretty in depth in that you can
Hmm.
also enchant and infuse weapons and armor either with randomized bonuses, or you can slot gems into these sockets that some gear pieces will have to improve stats and those kind of things. And if you enchant it, it's randomized. It removes those slots, but then it can make it, I think, rare or maybe even epic. It just depends on a lot of different factors.
What
So
are the drop rates like? Are you constantly changing weapons, or does it get you comfortable with something?
at the beginning, you are like at the beginning, you get a dagger, and then you get a. Well, actually, it's very randomized. So it depends. Like every chest could be a weapon you need. It might not be. It took me a
Hmm.
little while, but then you get like a wand. You can learn how to cast some magic. It operates as a club if you don't have any magic points. Um, so then yeah, you get other weapons too. I think I got a paddle, like this giant oar, was a two-handed strength scaling weapon. If I wanted to try to smack people around with that, spiked club is one of the ones that I got. You get one-handed swords, two-handed great swords. Like during that whole first area, you have plenty of places you can explore, and that's what I really like too. You start on the beach with nothing, and over time you start to gather some equipment. Oh, cool! I finally got a tunic. I can put that on. Better defense. Oh, cool! I got this thing. I can try this. You can learn how to cook meals. There's a guy who will repair all your gear for free in that first section because he's also trying to get to the city that you're trying to get to, and you're both stuck until you beat the first boss. So he'll repair things for free. So it's a good time actually to explore. And if you die, no big deal. You don't lose experience. You don't lose stats. You just have damaged equipment. So you just run back to that guy, repair your stuff, and keep rolling. And enemies in the world, for the most part, they stay the same within that same kind of run through that area. Over time, they'll respawn, or a different enemy might respawn, especially if you've traveled far away from it. Maybe a couple of bandits will reappear where you've already cleared it, but it takes a little while. They
Hmm.
don't respawn right away. There isn't like a bonfire to go to. That's not
That
how it
resets
works.
everything or anything like that? Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
The stuff to gather for meals is very abundant. You get lots of herbs and crab meat and mushrooms and lots of rats to kill to get their meat, and you can kind of start crafting your first meals. Meals are your healing things. To me, those work better. They used to heal you at different rates and different amounts over time, so you eat it and you still have to dodge around while you heal, and now it's more of an
Hmm.
instant heal.
Oh,
So
okay.
I don't know when
Nice.
they changed that, but that's way better. There's still potions and things like that. There's stuff you can apply to your weapons, anything from plague to fire to ice and other things you can apply different types of oils you can apply to your weapons. So it's got all those RPG elements that I really like. That I think they do a really good job of. There's elements of crafting, and you can buy a house and decorate it. All that
Ooh,
stuff's in there too.
that's
So
you got my ears ringing on that one.
yeah, you don't build
Love
a
a good
house, but there are.
house.
Think like Fable, where you could. There's a selection of houses to choose from,
Yeah,
and you
like
can pick one,
Oblivion's
and
like
then
that
you.
too, where it's like, ah, let me
Okay,
get a
there
house
you
in the
go.
city and
Right,
we can
that's exactly
decorate,
what it
like
is. So
mildly decorate, you know.
that's right. Yeah. And you learn some things really quickly, like, hey, if I can get up on an upper level above an enemy and then drop and hit attack midair, that slam attack is devastating. So then you start
Oh,
finding
cool.
yourself trying to like get that advantage on some enemies. You start to learn some of them. It's better just to dodge back till they finish a combo, then go get a few hits, dodge back. So I think it's pretty unique. Some people are just saying, "Oh, it's a Souls like." I'm out. I don't think it's a Souls like. To me, the Souls like
We
thing
just
is more
we
about
love to
punishing
use that
deaths.
term.
I know, I
Yeah.
know, I know. But
Like
they
the
think about
second
like
you said it
punishing
doesn't have
deaths.
like bonfire, like it's missing key ingredients that I feel like
Yeah,
need that Souls like needs to be get that label or whatever. And
in my opinion, yeah,
again,
I
a
agree with
game
you.
being hard and needing you to parry and dodge that doesn't equate. So it's a Souls game. It's hard and parry.
Yeah,
This
right.
is that's very reductive. Yeah.
Yep, I totally agree. There are some elements of fast travel they don't unlock till you get to the first city.
Mm.
So there's a lot of backtracking if you decide to do a lot of exploring, especially early on. But the fast travel system, not my favorite. I understand they want to limit that because they want you to explore, and every time you revisit an area, there's new enemies. Chests are different. You got different drops. Like, I get it, but I know it can be annoying for some folks. To its credit, though, the game is so freaking beautiful and now has beautiful music as well. Gareth
I was gonna
Coker
say, how are the
music is on the
tunes?
really good. I don't think they're all there, and if they, I don't think they're all there. I think there's more on the way, but I haven't been to the new areas yet. Maybe they'll really kick in the new areas.
Hmm.
But man, it looks really pretty. It's such a cool looking. I love the art style. I mean, they made the Ori games. They know how to make something visually pop.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know. So all that works great. But yeah, there's a lot of depth to the game too. There's a lot of verticality and going down deep into the depths. There's kind of hidden dungeons underneath these roots. You go down, all of a sudden you meet this new character who gives you a new quest, all within this cave system where you have to go find this psychedelic flower that once you touch it, it allows you to see pathways you couldn't see before. And now you travel back on these new pathways. Like, this stuff's really cool. It's really creative, really
That
interesting.
sounds cool.
And I like it a lot. I don't necessarily know why the user reviews on it are so mid. Like, they're overall it's like 70%, and then the recent ones with the new update are like less than 50%. So I'm not sure
Are
what
people
I'm
mad that they
missing.
lost their saves? Maybe like people are mad that
Maybe, yeah,
they,
maybe
you
and it
know,
is a tough
I
game.
s-
So maybe you jumped in for
I
the
did
first time
I
and
did
you're
see some
trying it.
people complaining about like it's just hard now and I don't like it. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't know if
I
that's
mean, it's interesting. It is hard, but to me, it doesn't. I don't know that it's notably harder than it was before, but I could be wrong. But when I was playing Valheim with my son the other day, just like yesterday, I was like, man, I forgot how hard this game is early game. All we have is like leather gear and some
yeah.
clubs and a flint knife and a wooden shield. And I'm like, dude, I am not strong. Like, my character's stats were low and our gear stinks. And everything in this game can kill. Like, the skeletons, which are now like jokes to me in later game, they're like
Hmm.
hilariously easy to kill. They're like, if you see one, you're terrified. Two, you might as well just turn the game off because you're gonna be dead. Like, so
You're about
sometimes
to
I think
drop
we
your backpack.
forget when you have yeah when you have to exactly when you have to restart, you kind of forget that, oh yeah, I'm pretty vulnerable early on, and so in No
Yeah.
Rest for the Wicked you're very vulnerable, and over time as you like you'll start to recognize, oh, that's a bandit with daggers, that's one with the crossbow, that's one who throws fire bombs. Like, you start to recognize them, and they're very clearly identified with their hats or their outfits or whatever, the weapons they're holding. And then you just start to get into the groove of when to block, when to dodge, when to roll, when to just go in swinging, when to throw a bomb because there's too many of them. Like, there's lots of, I don't know. To me, I look at it and I think it makes sense that it's tough, but I'm not going to knock someone if they think it's too tough. That's fine if they think it's too tough. Um, I've hit that with some games that I'm like, this is too hard for me. I'm not going to keep playing it. That's totally fair.
Yeah. I
So
just, and this is just me being like, oh, this is why reviews are stupid, but like, that's not a negative thing if it's too hard. Like maybe it's too hard for you. Like don't like review bomb it or whatever. Like if the game's
Yeah,
crashing, give it a negative score. If it's a little too hard, I don't know. Like
yeah,
maybe save your down, your thumbs down click or whatever.
yeah. I'm looking at one that was just recent. Um, the thumbs down review saying you need to farm healing items and drop rate is comically rare. Well, for like potions, yeah, that's
Just
true. And
you
you have to
just
learn how to
talked about
craft them
food
eventually.
though.
But it's the food is how you heal yourself. And I have like you can barely fight anything and have a ton of stuff to craft food. And by the way, right at the beginning, you can just eat mushrooms and they'll slowly heal you. But I think one of the first fires you find, there's a recipe right there to like make this mushroom soup. So it starts with you have that right out of the gate, and you
Hmm.
can start crafting that. The crab soup, and then there's anyway. That's one. I think there's maybe a misunderstanding on their part, which is surprising, since they played it for 4 hours. So anyway,
Yeah,
they said it takes a gazillion years to start the game, black screen, and another
a
billion years to load
zillion.
the game. It
Okay.
started up so fast for me after the update, so this could just be luck on my part. Like maybe,
Maybe this user has a bad computer.
maybe, yeah. Who knows? Who knows? Um, so that one I can't relate to either. And then they say equipment random stats is too conditional, and often you get negative buff compared to good buff. I've never had a negative buff on a piece of gear. Every piece of gear has some ability to upgrade it if you get the materials to do so. And you get the drops are random, and I will get plenty of drops that I'm like, this one's not helpful. It's a strength based one. I'm not doing a strength character, so you just sell it. You just take it to the vendor and you just sell it,
That
or you just
literally
don't pick it
sounds
up.
like every RPG ever.
Oh my gosh,
So,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, but you can improve them. Even like common stuff, you can just use some enchantments and fuse it with the gem or something, and boom, you got yourself a pretty nice weapon if you want. I don't know. Um, Need to repair the weapon every time you dead? Yes, and it's free to repair at the beginning, and eventually, when you do have to pay for it, it's pretty cheap. It's not like your weapons break after you die. They lose a chunk of like there's like out of 100, I think you go down maybe 15 or so. It just
Hmm.
depends. But like there's a durability that goes down on things when you die. But hey, it's better than losing experience, better than losing a level, better than having to go back to
Yeah.
where you died. You
Where
don't
you
have
dropped
there'll
four
be a
levels worth of currency or whatever. Yeah.
yeah, you're not losing currency, you're not losing experience points or stats or anything. There is a little headstone on the map where you died. That's just to show you where you died if you're trying to get
Yeah.
back to that spot again. But you don't have to pick anything up. You didn't lose any gear. Like Valheim, you got to go back and pick up all your gear because you're naked after you die.
Yeah.
So, and then they talk about tedious and chore work doing that more than actually enjoying the game. I don't think so. You can chop down trees and mine ore, which you'll want those things to upgrade weapons and to craft new things, but it's really quick. You hold the Y button for 3 swings, and then you get that thing, and you move on.
Tim,
I,
these people don't have time to hold down Y, okay? Like
I
you're just
don't.
come on, dude. These people got things to do.
So I'm seeing these kind of reviews, and it's
Yeah,
easy for me
I don't
because
buy any of this.
I've put 30 hours into this game. Not of course this week, but like total, like counting last year and then now. Um, and I enjoy it. So none of these things, like to me, I'm like, this is part of the gameplay system. You just have to get used to them and embrace them, and
Hmm.
they're really good. They're fun. But I get it if that's not your thing. Like you probably also wouldn't like V Rising or Valheim or other games that I adore.
Yeah. I
So
mean,
that's fine.
some of these things do sound like I don't like how everything shapes in Tetris. That's what the game is. It shapes. Like, yeah, I just don't like that. I'm like, we'll play something else then. I don't like. What is
Yeah,
that? This is
I
a
don't know
really
what to
weird.
tell you.
It's a really weird take.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Totally agree. I think the armor sets look really cool. I know they've added a lot of stuff. I have kind of purposefully not gone into a deep dive and reading about everything they're updating. I know the names of some of the new environments. I've seen little clips of it, but I purposefully have not watched everything there is about it because I love just discovering it on my own and exploring on my own. I have noticed in the city there's already a couple exits that were blocked off before, and now there's a guard there saying, "Hey, it's too dangerous. You can't go there yet, but you're going to be able to soon." Like the Lower Meadows is a new area. That'll be one place I'll get to go. I haven't been to before. So, I'm excited about all that stuff. I just don't know completely what the new content looks like yet, but I am
Hmm.
sure I will get to it. So those are the two I'm kind of balancing right now is Shadows and No Rest for the Wicked. I did not get a chance to play the V Rising update, but at some point I will. Um, and again, that's another really awesome
Rising's
isometric
great.
action
Yeah.
RPG. It's so good. Yeah. So anyway, so we've talked AC Shadows. Is there anything else this week you've been playing?
Yeah. I can't stop playing Oblivion. I won't talk about it long because it's just, we talked about it last week ad nauseum. But I am currently level 26, which is pretty dang good. It's pretty high. I think you cap at 50, but like
Hmm.
these last 25 levels are insane because you only level up what you're using, and I have everything that I'm using at 100. So if I need to
Huh.
level up more, I have to use things that I don't use.
That
So
is
now's the
insane.
time.
Yeah.
Now's the time to go like join the mages guild and start like using wands and stuff, and I'll
Ah,
start leveling
yeah,
up a little
yeah,
quicker. But yeah, it's fun. I'm like 34 hours in like a week. That's insane. It's stupid.
yeah.
I have like $200,000. I have so much money. I don't even know what to do with it. I'm like, do I go buy another house? I don't know. I
Is
just
some
have
of that
so
like
much
old
money.
tricks that you've known from playing it? Like I
No,
know how.
no,
Yeah.
I didn't do any dupe tricks or anything. There's plenty of that stuff out there. They didn't take any of that stuff out. So if you do want to game the economy, you
Yeah.
can. This is just good old fashioned dungeon dive
You
in,
just
and
you're just getting chests and selling
once you get
stuff and
once you get over level 20, because this game has a really radical like level scaling thing that is kind of a hot topic right now, whether or not this should have ever been invented. Like, why did we make this? But the game gets aggressively harder, like at 20 and 25, and like pretty much
ah
every 5 levels after 20. And so like now, whenever I fight like goblins who used to just be naked, they're like in full battle armor, and like everybody's got like the best
ah
armor. So when I kill them and I strip them nude of all their belongings, everything sells for like $2,000-3,000 like a piece.
okay, got
So
it.
this is
So
just
there's
good
pros
old
and cons to
fashioned.
that. The missions are harder, but you get more
The loot's
drops or
better,
whatever.
yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's great, and I'm at level 25. I'm not getting steamrolled yet. I remember not being able to beat this game because I didn't level my character up properly. So whenever I
Mm-hmm.
got to story moments, like the game was just too hard because of the level scaling, and my character wasn't leveling up anymore because the leveling was a little different back then too. Like only leveling up your major skills, not your minor skills, would get you towards a level up. And that probably
Okay.
sounds like nonsense to people who never played the original Oblivion, but everything, like it's like Skyrim now. Everything that you do has you level up, which is nice.
Yeah.
But I haven't hit any like big, like hard, level scaling weirdness yet. So, but things are hitting back a little harder now. I have to like actually like, oh, I can't just walk into every area and just like hold down R2 and just like check my phone or whatever. Like I have to actually do
Yeah.
stuff now. Fun. All my friends are playing this game. It's become like a communal game again. Like where I'm like, oh my god, you have to go pick up this like mission where an orc kidnaps you and throws you into like a Hunger Game situation, or oh, we gotta
Oh,
go.
nice.
I bought this house and it's haunted. Have you checked this out yet? Like it's that Witcher 3 cyberpunk, that like
Yes.
this is the OG of that. Morrowind, I guess, is really the OG of that. This is that thing where like when you talk to your friends, you're like, did you see this? This
I
thing,
love that.
this thing that I just stumbled onto. And it's cool because there's a lot of like really, really, really like unique weapons and armor and stuff. So like when that stuff drops, it like feels like a big deal. Like this is like insane how
Mm-hmm.
with these stats and everything like that. Just really enjoying it. I'm just really enjoying the communal aspect of it. Of everybody, like there's a lot of new people playing it. People who only played Skyrim, who never played
That's right.
Oblivion. Right now,
A lot of
you
Skyrim
have.
folks that are being won over.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of people like me who like played Oblivion for hundreds of hours but never beat it because the level scaling was completely broken in that game.
Oh, you never beat it
No,
originally?
I couldn't. No, I hit it. I like the game literally got too hard. Like, and my character was just not. You had to build your character right. Like that's kind
Yeah.
of feeds into that more hardcore aspect. Like if you were just throwing points to the wind, like you weren't gonna be ready or have the gear or have the know-how or the even the
Mm.
the stats to like stand up against like even just regular enemies. I just remember like
Mm.
trying to like stop this Oblivion gate that was part of the main story mission, and like just the regular goblins were killing me, and I'm like, I'm not even fighting Daedra. Like I'm just like I'm getting like steamrolled
Crap.
by. But that's not happening this time. I think I'm 20 years smarter, Tim, in the
Yeah,
RPG
you are.
game. I
That's
know
right.
I kind of know how to put a point into a system this time around. So Uh, Great game. I'm just really enjoying everybody playing it. It is nice again, just to like have people be like, oh, I can't. Did you see the town with invisible people? And you had to go find the wizard to like cure it. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like it's just
Yeah.
it's fun to just hear that stuff because again, I played this game for hundreds of hours before, and like
Yeah.
I'm still finding stuff that I don't remember or I had never seen before, and there's still a whole piece of DLC called the Shivering Isles, which is more of like a Morrowind like piece of content. And it's a whole new continent. It's a whole new side quest. It's a whole new main story. So I'll get to that when I get to that, I guess. Like it's just there's a lot of
Yeah.
content in this game.
Yeah, man. I
Um,
wonder for you, like, since it's been a while, does it feel new enough, especially with all the upgrades and
yeah,
changes and everything? Or have you played it recently enough that you're like, oh, I remember all of this? Are there elements you're like, I
no,
forgot this existed?
I I haven't played this game in 20 years. When I got my computer, I did check in with it on the computer, and I
Okay.
was like, I can't play this game. It's too old. It sucks.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
We've come too far. I can't go back.
Hmm.
It needed this. It needed this. I mean, like it feels good
Yeah.
now, and like you have put it in a place now with the way that we play video games where like this game will age very nicely, not unlike Skyrim, like we're still
Yeah.
playing that all these years later, and there's just not like Starfield kind of plays like Sky, like that's kind of just how action RPG
Yep.
Western Bethesda games play. It's just that's just how it is
Isn't it
now.
kind of wild that Oblivion and Skyrim are only, I think, like 5 years apart from on release dates?
I
And
wish that shocked me. It shocked me more that Oblivion was made 3 years after Morrowind.
okay, so those games are 8 years apart, three of the main, and now we've gone 14 years and still haven't gotten a new entry.
No,
That's pretty crazy.
no,
Now, to be fair, they've done Elder Scrolls Online. You can make an
yeah,
argument that is as big or bigger than any of those games. Totally
the
fair.
whole it is the
But
whole world. It's not
it's the
just one
entire
continent.
world.
Yeah, it's the whole
Okay,
world.
yeah.
So
So I get that. But yeah, it's still kind of wild to think about that, the length of time between these things.
yeah, yeah, it is wild that again, like they built Oblivion, which was way ahead of its time when it came out in 3 years. Like that just it
I
doesn't
know.
make any sense to me at all.
It's the same thing with like Grand Theft Auto 5 it came out 12 years ago. So
Yeah,
and the
yeah,
time between
that's
4
insane.
and 5 was, I don't know, might have been 4 years, 5 years. Like it wasn't that long.
No, it wasn't that
But
long at all. No, and we've gotten like two Red Deads in between there, and,
yeah,
which is they've put out so many games, but none of it with a six on the end of it. So
that's right. That's right. No, man, I'm glad you're enjoying it. It sounds like everyone, generally speaking, is enjoying a
yeah,
revisit to
it
this
is.
world.
It's buggy, man. Like it's the same bugs that existed back then. That
Yeah.
damn Bethesda engine's running underneath this thing, and it is just wreaking havoc.
I still like to
So
think
many
the
times.
Unreal Engine is sometimes like, for real, you want to? Okay, okay, all right, go ahead, go ahead, do it.
Yeah, yeah, right. Are you sure? Yeah,
You sure you want
that's
to do
how you
this?
have your code written.
Okay.
Um, It's nuts. But it's Bethesda jank. Like I'm so used to it. I've put 1,000 hours collectively across Fallout's and Oblivions and whatever. So it's like maybe my tolerance is really high for it. But like there is a lot of jank. I've had to reload plenty of times because like oh the quest
Ah,
just didn't progress. But a quick load
yeah,
back for one save missing 5 minutes. Like that set it right back
right.
on its path. But like it's there. It's janky,
It
and I
happens. It
guess they did
happens.
say, yeah, it's a big old game, and they said that they want to fix it, so it's like they're open, they're taking complaints right now, which I'm like, oh, that's bold of you to like open up the the floodgates on that conversation, but
They
like
have a
they're willing to.
suggestion box in the office.
They do, yeah. I hope someone's reading through it, carefully, for
Hmm.
the good stuff, I guess. But like, yeah, this game needs a little bit of work. But like every Bethesda game comes out in kind of a state of weirdness, except Starfield. I feel like Starfield was actually pretty stable, but we don't
Depends on
we
who you
don't like
talk
to
to. You know.
we don't really like to throw that much praise around for that game. So
Yeah, watch it on that
all
Starfield talk
30
view.
frames of it.
Oh my gosh. Ugh.
All right.
Truly,
Well, that's
truly, just a victim of that acquisition of Bethesda. That's all it was.
it's all it was. It was on PlayStation 5. Everyone would have been like, "This space
If it
game
had been
rocks."
multi-platform and like what, like those criticisms. I mean, you're just looking for something to hate about that game, and you
Yeah.
found it.
If this game
So
comes out on PlayStation, everyone buys it. I will never stop talking about it. like, you
Yeah.
idiots. Yeah, you.
Yeah.
Like, I can't
Yeah.
believe you guys just like immediately changed your opinions on this game the second it was on another system.
Yeah. Yeah, the
Whatever. Yeah.
context for this stuff is crazy. We talked about it with AC Shadows and then with Starfield and other things. Yeah, the context for these things, it's just nuts, man.
Yeah.
Sometimes if you have high enough quality that's just kind of undeniable and people are actually playing it, then yeah, then I think it's great. People who actually played Starfield and gave it a shot and weren't playing it as a joke on a stream to make fun of it as you
Hmm.
played it. Because you could do that with any game. I'm convinced if you are determined to hate a game, you could
Yeah.
play it in front of your friends or on a stream and you can make fun of anything about it.
Yeah.
Pretty much anything. Although I did see a streamer try to do that. I think I talked about this with Astrobot, and he couldn't help but smile, be like, all right, that part was kind of cool,
Yeah.
I guess. Like,
Uh,
he was trying to hate it, but he couldn't.
yeah.
Um, but no, I'm thrilled that Oblivion is what it needed to be, especially for
Yeah.
fans of the series. I still have it installed. I'm planning on playing some more when I get a chance. I think AC Shadows being completed when I feel like, all right, I am done with this game. I'll never 100% it. I don't think I've done that with
Hmm.
an Assassin's Creed game since maybe one of the Ezio ones was last time I
Yeah.
100%ed one of those games. But then I'll be able to kind of more fully explore some of these others that are out right now that
Yeah.
I've only diddled so far. Some of these, so
Little diddle will do you. You know.
just a little
Uh,
diddle.
I also finally stripped myself away from Oblivion and play more Clair Obscure. Well, this is a game we just can't talk about. Like, this game's all story and all
Yeah.
of its spoilers. So it's just like the only thing I can say is wow, this game
Mm,
is really something. I did
yeah.
hit a story moment that shocked me.
Really.
Shocked me. um,
Okay.
so yeah, this story goes places.
I can't wait,
And
man. I'm
it's
actually
just really
considering, and call me like a fake gamer if you need to. I'm considering putting it on easy mode and just playing it so I can
you
just
should.
enjoy the story and
Why
just
not?
play
Who
it.
cares? Yeah. I did
So
put it
I'm,
on easy
and
mode
it's not
for a
because I think
bit.
the game's hard. I'm just like, how much
No,
do I want to invest in like really getting good at it, and how much do I just kind of want to experience it?
and
I'm
I'll tell you, like,
thinking
I
about
did
it.
turn on easy. I just wanted to see what it was because we were talking about like what's easy mode like last week, and I'm like, none of us could really say anything about it. I did turn it on easy mode. Here's the thing: you can get hit by regular attacks all day, and like you're pretty spongy or whatever. But if you miss a parry, a jump, or a dodge on like one of the bigger attacks from like a bigger, they will one shot you still. So it's
Even on
like
easy.
even on easy, but like the window for dodging is a little bigger, like
Okay.
it's just
Okay.
it does help you get there. But if there's no way to just play this game like, I'm just gonna tap X all the way
Yeah.
through this game. Like,
Right.
it still, even
Totally.
on easy mode, needs you to engage with those mechanics, which I think is great because I think that that's a major mechanic in the game, and I think that
That's what
like
I want. I didn't want to lose that like fun timing and parrying.
yeah,
I want to still do some of that, but it's one of those things where uh, how much do I have to like take a deep breath before I dive? Do I want to have to do that before I dive into another game? And so yeah,
I
it's
I
kind of
think
nice
it
to know that.
alleviates some of the need to like grind, like, oh, I guess I better just stick
Yeah.
here for a while and then rest at
Yeah.
bonfires and have them reset enemies. Oh, is this a
And
Souls
do it
like?
again.
That's how we label things,
Hey,
right?
hey. It's
I've
more
been
Souls
seeing
like
that.
than no
uh,
rest for the wicked, just saying.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. So, but yeah, and like I do still do a little like maybe I should get to level 20 right now. Things are kind of hitting me a little hard, so it's like it, I think easy mode might alleviate some of that extra, like having to
Mm.
like grind, like dig your heels in and grind on an area before
I
progressing.
think
But
that's what it is. I think I'm like, I want to play it. I can't wait to see what happens. I just don't want homework. Like I don't want extra credit. I don't want to do extra credit work right
hmm
now. I kind of just want to do
yeah,
the basic stuff.
and people who are having problems like with like, I don't understand Pictos and Lumina and there's too much, like, just freaking go look. Is this your first RPG? Go look up a guide. You're gonna be okay. Go look up a build
Yeah.
guide. You're gonna be,
Yeah.
someone's already done all the work for you. Just go look up
Yeah.
a build guide. Just make your character that way. I will say, if
It's
you're
just
not
the names of
exploring,
them that are a little different, but like you
it's just,
have
yeah. Oh,
if
yeah.
you're listening to this podcast, you have played a game that has a system like this. It's just not
You were
called
just talking
this.
about enchantments and gems and no rest for the wicked. That's all these
Confusing and all.
are.
Yeah.
They're just called weird things, So,
Right.
and maybe they're buried in the menu a little differently than you're used to. But that's okay. Like, just watch a video.
Yeah.
You're gonna be fine.
You're gonna be fine.
And people
Hey,
are kind of
even the
hyping up.
president of France has called out how good this game is. Did you see that in the news?
I did. Yeah.
The president of France was like, Look what we did. Look what we did
Yeah,
over here.
where this is the best
So
thing since French bread, and I was like, yeah, it is. You're right.
you're right. You're right,
Um,
President.
yeah, I wish there was more I could dive into about this game, but there is no way I would rob anybody of like some of the things that are going on, some of the locations that you go to, some of the visuals, some of just the I don't know, the weight of everything
Mm.
and then those like fleeting moments of levity and I don't there's just this game is incredible and it's shocking me how incredible it is.
Yeah.
Every time I pick it up
Yeah.
and play it, like I'm just like and it blew past metaphor. So like when we're talking in terms of like concurrent players and stuff like that,
Hmm.
so it's one of those things that like when Metaphor hit and it was still kind of just for JRPG fans, but there was a lot of buzz around it, and it seemed like, hey, this is like really breaking in to a more mainstream audience. This is definitely breaking into a more mainstream audience. It picked up the baton where Metaphor maybe fell short in terms of like breaking in fully, and has definitely broken in fully. I mean, this game is being
Hmm.
played as much as like Oblivion. Like the numbers for the player count is amazing for this game, and that's weird because this is a really hardcore turn-based RPG, way hardcore. It's very, very, very hard, but not unfair, So I think that's what
Yeah.
probably matters, and I think people like are in on the story, and if you play video games for story, like our Dan's and like me's and stuff like that, where like it's a kind of a story first thing, this is it.
Hmm.
This is the game you've been waiting for. Like go out there and give it a whirl and maybe cry a little bit. Well, you'll see. Or maybe
Yeah.
you won't.
Just
I don't
we
know.
shed
Maybe
a few tears. No big deal.
maybe you're a heartless weirdo. That's fine too. But
Yeah, it's possible. I was just looking at Steam DB to see the charts on it. It's up there, man. It's right up there with stuff like Oblivion, even in terms of people who have been playing it. The all-time peak, of course. Let's see, where is it? It's in the 200,000s. That's pretty good, man.
yeah. Well,
When it
and
comes to games like
let's
this, especially.
especially a game that like Oblivion came out and like it just stole all the thunder for that week, and this game
Yeah,
still sold 1 million copies. It still has 200,000 concurrent players at its peak, like that's crazy. And it's so funny, an analyst likened it to or maybe it was the dev. I might think it was the dev of Expedition. It's like we think Oblivion helped it because people were in an RPG mood, so they likened it to Barbenheimer. They're like Barbie and Oppenheimer helped each other get
that's
the
pretty
amount
good.
of ticket sales that they did, just like that people bought Oblivion and people bought this game and people are playing Oblivion and people are playing Expedition, and it's not an either or situation. It's just one kind of help the other. They're helping each other.
Yeah,
And I was like, that's amazing. There is enough time, there's enough pie, I guess, to split up, where people can play both, and they are different experiences, but they both are RPGs. So
yeah,
um,
yeah.
it's awesome,
Totally.
man. I'm really, really excited. This little tiny game, that doesn't look little at all, and it's definitely not tiny by any means. I'm hearing it's like 60 plus hours. Is really cooking, and it's really taken the world by storm. And I'm very happy for it. Very happy for these weird French guys who made this made this game.
Yeah, yeah, totally. Yeah, man, it's done really well. I'm thrilled for their success, not only on Game Pass but outside of it. Seeing it hit the charts on Steam, kind of maintaining a great player. And the other thing is when you tell a compelling story. To your point, you're
Yeah,
going to keep people engaged. Like, yeah, the gameplay is great. It's got great turn-based combat, especially if you like that style. And even if you don't, you're going to find things to enjoy about the combat.
yeah,
But it's beautiful to explore, and it's telling a story that you got to find out what happens next, type of a thing.
yeah.
Um, so
Uh,
thanks for
I
not
was in.
spoiling anything. I know it's probably
Yeah, I
hard not to
won't.
say like
No, it,
something.
it is. Yeah, I was like in. I think I played like 4 hours in just in shock, like just being like, I
Dang.
don't, just don't know, don't know anymore.
Yeah.
Like, um, excited for everyone to get to some of the big stuff in this game.
Yeah. All right. Well, there's a couple news things that we'll touch on real quick, and then we'll wrap it up with happier stuff. I want to hear a little bit about Thunderbolts. I know you got to go see that, so I want to hear your thoughts on that
Oh
to
yeah,
wrap it up as well. It's nice to see Marvel return to form, so I can't wait to hear your
yeah,
thoughts on that one. But we'll cover
Wouldn't
a
be
little bit
funny
of
if I
news
was like, I
first.
hated it, it sucked. Like,
I would
it's
love it
not
if
a
you
regret.
hated
Yeah,
it.
that'd be so
Yeah.
funny. Yeah.
I know you saw it, but it'd be funny if your take was it's
Yeah, I
overrated.
haven't
It's one of the
shared
worst
it yet
ones.
because I just wanted to say that it's stupid. And,
I wanted to say how
and
much
Florence
I
Poe
hated it.
is she's a bad actress, and we all agree with that.
Yeah, more like Thunder Nope. Am I right,
Yeah.
guys? No? Okay. All right. So we know that there have been last year we kind of talked about this that when we reviewed 2024, it was a year of layoffs. I think over 14,000 people in the industry got laid off, mostly in the development side of things, marketing, a lot of different roles in studios and at publishers of video games. Well, I think that's still happening. We saw EA close, I think, a studio recently. So we've seen some layoffs this year, just not
Yeah, layoffs at
not to that
Respawn,
degree.
layoffs across their whole
Respawn,
company. Yeah,
I think
closed down a
Codemasters
couple.
had something.
Oh yeah. Hmm.
So anyway, some things have been happening for sure in that space, but I think more notably because it could be the shutdown of some brands is in the game journalism space. Now you might have a strong opinion about it, you viewer or listener to this about game journalists. That's totally fair. You might have a strong opinion about what what they are now, what they used to be. I used to love Nintendo Power and Game Pro, but now it's become this. Okay, totally fair. But they still have been relatively a mainstay for most of us. When we talk about the reviews and the aggregate reviews, we're talking about folks who like this, who review games and talk about games and go to these events and get us hyped for games. So love them or hate them, they are a big part of our hobby. And I think at least two different companies look like they could be on the verge of no longer existing. It just depends on what happens with their now owners, I guess, with these acquisitions and things that have moved around. The two that I am aware of, and there might be more, are Polygon and Giant Bomb, that are both kind of, I would call it uncertain on their future for both. Is that fair to
Hmm.
say?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, and this is like if there are five major pillars like in games journalism, like IGN, GameSpot, Kotaku, Polygon, Giant Bomb, two just fell. Like that's
yeah,
kind of nut. The two that have been around for a long time, as long as some of these other ones.
yeah,
Like you say the word mainstay, that means everything to these specific types of websites. They had huge fan bases. They've been around for a long time. They have a huge online footprint, and they're just going away. Maybe question mark.
yeah, yeah. I know they. So I was just reading this article. Um, they were acquired about 3 years, 2.5 years ago by Fandom Inc. And there's already been a couple of like folks let go and things changed. People that have left, to do their own thing, probably to do with the acquisition and kind of the direction things were going, and that's totally fair. And but it has continued, and there have been some folks like Jeff Grubb and others who are names that we regularly bring up when it comes to rumors or things like that. Um, and yeah, it seems like Grubb and many others at Giant Bomb are now gone. Fans have been archiving their content for a few years now, anticipating this happening after the acquisition. So apparently, a lot of their content is being preserved by
That's
fans,
good.
which is always cool. Dan Reichert was a long time name
Yeah.
and face there. He's also gone from Giant Bomb. So he did say he was quoted this past week as saying he'll never appear on Giant Bomb again, regardless of what form it might take in the future. And the direction that fandom's taking the company was something he cannot be a part of. So I was like, whoa,
Wow.
that's pretty
Sour
crazy.
grapes. Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, I mean, and maybe for good reason too, right? Sometimes the
Yeah,
sour grapes are there for a
probably.
reason.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
sour grapes are
yeah.
sometimes justified. Yeah, justified sour
Sometimes,
grapes. Yeah.
yeah. That's the name of our band, Justified Sour
Justified. Yeah,
Grapes.
that's right. Yeah, right. We do
Uh,
indie rock on the weekends.
yeah, yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. Now the other one is Polygon. I think it's very similar. I think they were acquired, and then there's been a lot of staff layoffs and people moving around. I think people are feeling the vibe I'm getting, generally speaking, is that the Giant Bomb one makes people kind of sad because they still are fans of the platform and the podcast and a lot of the people that are there, their voices, their faces, their takes, their humor, all of it.
Hmm.
Polygon, I am seeing more of a mixed response to
Some
combination of
grave.
some of that.
There's
I'm a
some grave
fan. I
dancing.
like it. And then there's a little bit of grave dancing that I'm seeing. This is what you
Yeah.
get when you dot 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 dot.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm
People
not
got
saying
fired,
I'm
guys.
above
Just
that.
chill out,
I'm sure I'm
dude.
I'm sure I'm petty about some things, maybe even
I've
on this podcast.
I'm sure
Yeah.
I've said something nuts about Polygon on this podcast
Oh,
before. So
we've made
check
fun
the
of them
tapes. I'm
in the
sure I've
try
said
hard
something nuts.
tracker. Yes,
Yeah,
we've made
yeah,
fun of
yeah.
them, but that doesn't mean I want them fired. If anything, I
Yeah,
kind of
same.
like having those kind of takes that we can bounce off of and respond to. So I
Hmm.
have it's hard for me unless I know they've done something illegal or harmful to others. It's hard for me to be happy when someone's fired, to be honest with you. Even if I don't think that
Yeah,
company's going in the right direction, or maybe I think they're prioritizing the wrong things, or it doesn't matter. Like for the most part, unless they're doing something that hurts other people or that is clearly illegal, I don't know. Seeing someone fired sucks, even if
yeah. Well,
it's
especially,
unavoidable.
and maybe this is a little gooey, but like especially when it's like in an industries that are just filled with people who are passionate about what they're doing. So these are people who
Right.
love their job who lost it, not like who are like,
Right.
oh, I'm a slave here or whatever, and I've been working here this dead end job for a long time. This is not that. This is people who
Right.
are
We're
like
not talking about
jazzed to
credit
like
card companies or
no, these
insurance. You know
aren't
what I mean?
insurance salesmen.
Yeah.
Yeah, these aren't
Right.
bankers. Like these are people who like go to their job and they love it. And now something devastating happened where like they might not be in the industry anymore. Like it's there's not enough rooms that there's not enough table space for all these people to get like jobs elsewhere. Like all
Yep.
these companies are cutting back. I don't think IGN has like multiple main offices anymore. Like in the United States, I think they've a lot of people work from home, and they're the biggest, and like that most of their people work from home and are scattered across the United States and zoom in or whatever, whenever they're doing podcasts, like the whole space has changed. Like whereas like
Yep.
just 10 years ago, everything was shot in a studio with like high tech equipment and like there's just not enough budget and money for that anymore. And so like you don't, hundreds of people aren't going to find jobs at like IGN or Kotaku or anything like that. And that sucks. And so don't be an asshole about it. I guess that's my
Right?
long-winded point. Like, you can
Yeah.
be like, well, I didn't really listen to them or watch them or click on their
And
stuff,
that's
and like
fine.
be like, and yeah, that's okay, but like just to celebrate a bunch of people losing their jobs, like it's psychopathic. Like, chill out, bud.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I agree completely. So those are bummer things. It'll be interesting to see what happens. Fandom claims that they have plans for Giant Bomb and other media brands and they can't wait to share in the future. It's all the corporate kind of like press statement-y stuff that they're saying. So we'll see if that's actually true or if, like we've seen many times, they promise the brand's not going away, but it does go away.
It
Like
does. This is exactly what happened to game trailers, like 6 or 7 years ago,
that's
and they
right.
did not get their brand. They had to rebrand as Easy Allies,
That's
and
right.
it never was the same again because they couldn't retain their fans because like no matter what, when you rebrand, you shed about half the people who are watching your stuff, if not more.
That's right.
And retaining that audience is hard, and it's the same thing that happened to Rooster Teeth recently. That was a little more over the years, but it got bought out a couple times, and it just like you get bought by someone who doesn't understand what you are, and they just cut you loose. You know what I mean? So it's like when
Hmm.
you get bought by Viacom, and they're like, "What is we're spending how much money on internet videos?" Like, no, cut that. And it's some suit sitting at a table who doesn't understand anything about the business. And yeah, maybe it's not making enough money, and they cut these things loose, and it's probably what happened to these two as well after getting secured
Yep.
by something, and they just no one saw the bottom line or the profit margin, so
Yep.
gotta cut it.
And just for clarity on the Polygon thing, they were sold to a company called Valnet, and then the majority of the Polygon staff has been laid off, or I guess at least numerous staff. Some are saying majority, but including the editor in chief and many others. So yeah, there you go.
And not everybody is gonna have some like fun game informer like resurrection. Like that's like
Correct.
absolutely lucky that that happened. And like there's not gonna be a company that's gonna like, hey, we're gonna buy Polygon and reboot them. It's like that's just not gonna happen.
Yeah. Yep. So it's kind of it's a crazy shift, similar to when we saw E3 kind of die this slow and super painful death over the years.
Ugh.
Um, I was not at all happy that it didn't work out. I really wanted it to work out because I love E3. Now that doesn't mean I
Hmm.
don't like what Jeff Keighley's doing too. I kind of wish both could exist. We could have this amazing summertime, almost game competition. Who can break the most news and get the best guests and have the best
Yeah. Who
showcases? I
secured the
would love.
most reveals? Yeah.
That'd be amazing, but that's not what it is, and E3 no longer exists. So yeah, I it kind of just bums me out when you see something that you have grown to, I don't know, kind of count on, and so
We've
whether
watched this
it's
industry change in some really negative ways in the last 20 years,
Mhm.
and it
Yeah,
does it we're a very nostalgic era, a generation, and yeah, I do
yeah.
have just huge memories of looking at video game websites and the stuff that they produce and them going to E3, and it's like I don't want to live in a world, even I don't care how much you don't like IGN or I don't trust the big, blah 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 companies or
Yeah,
whatever. These companies get the scoops, and the scoops are
yeah.
what we're here for, and I don't want to live in a world where like we're scoopless and it's just devs, sending out dev diaries and nobody's there to tell us when,
Yeah.
so we miss all of them, and I don't know.
Well,
I don't
and
want to
in
live in
some
that world.
cases, you would get like real human takes on stuff, not just the corporate summary version you would get from a company. You'd get like
Yeah,
sometimes those game journalists, the good ones, you feel like that's someone you could know. They speak your language. They know how to
yeah,
translate it into you being hyped or not. And
yeah,
sometimes not. Sometimes it felt like, boy, you really are a corporate shill. Like I get that too. Like
yeah,
I understand it's not a complete loss for everyone across the board, but for folks who
yeah.
lost their jobs, it really does suck. I do know that I have used most of these sites at various times. Giant Bomb, we got our inspiration for our Game of the Year format from them, and I
They
enjoy
best
listening to
format.
that every
Yeah.
year. I love it. With Polygon, I've used plenty of their guides. When I do Google searches, they'll show up a lot in those, and there's some
Sometimes they
really
pop
helpful
above IGN
guides.
walkthroughs, which like
Yeah,
is like the go-to wiki page like for
that's
guides. So
right.
like Polygon does do some more specific guides and stuff like that that just
They
get
do.
printed a little
I mean, it's
quicker
easy to
and
make fun of them for their headlines that are clearly
yeah,
clickbaity and
yeah,
controversies. They're trying to stir up controversy, and it probably works. I guess they probably get some good traffic from doing that kind of thing. And
yeah,
it's fun to make fun of them sometimes. I'll admit that. But that's not all of who they are. That's not everyone who got laid off. Some of them are legitimate gamers just like us, and so it just kind of
yeah.
sucks. So um, anyway, so that's happening. That's a bummer. But hey, the good news is Microsoft has decided we can all afford to pay more for their console. So they're raising their prices. So Microsoft is increasing all Xbox prices. I think it's as of now, like May 1st.
I
So
think you're right.
too late if you were hoping. I mean, maybe there's some outlets out there, some retailers, if you were hoping to hold out and grab something, maybe that hasn't raised it yet, but I doubt it. So here's the prices that we know the increases. The Xbox Series S, the 512 gigabyte version, was $300. That was a good deal for kind of a current gen console, even though you can make an argument it's not because it's behind. I get that. Now it's 380. That's a
Okay, I don't
25%
I'm gonna
increase.
try not to stop you on every item. This is
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
insane because
That
like
one's
the
crazy.
Series S is a little,
That's
like it's
crazy.
having problem playing like almost any game at this point. I mean,
I
Dan was
know.
just talking about how it won't even run Avowed. Like what are you doing?
What are
All
you
right,
doing?
that's all I really have to say. What are you doing?
I
80
mean, to me,
bucks?
that feels
That's
like
insane.
it's barely a step up from like the PS4 Pro or the Xbox One X.
No.
You know what I mean? Like it's not
You leave
that big
that
of a step.
that's insane.
Yeah, so that 25% increase to 380 for that one. The 1 terabyte version is up to 430 now. So they both went up a good amount from 350 up to 430. So those were kind of your more affordable of the options. And the Series X, the 1 terabyte digital, no disc drive, no Blu ray player, is now 550. $550 just for the console. It was 450 for that.
Oof.
And I remember I got that plus Doom on this really cool sale. I think it was $400 for both. So like I remember getting like this crazy, no, maybe it was less than that. But anyway, I remember that's when I got my Series X was a really good sale. So there's no way it's gonna get close to that. No, no, it was $300. It was yeah, it
Whoa.
was $300 because I remember that's why I was like it was a no brainer. I have to get it. Normally 450, and there was like a kind of
It was
a
150 out. That's insane.
it was really cheap, and I remember getting it for and I was super pumped. There's no way it's getting close to that price again until the next Xbox console comes out. Maybe 550 for the digital one. The one with Blu-ray is 600. $600. 20% increase from 500. I mean, people are whining about the Switch prices. If this news had broke before that, and we know Sony's probably going to have to follow suit, there's going to be increased prices there too. I'd have to
Yeah.
guess. Now Nintendo Switch's prices don't look so crazy. It's like, oh, makes sense now.
Not
They,
really. Yeah, right? Like it
yeah,
actually if everything pairs up in the way that it already is, like it's still like the cheapest by leaps and bounds.
yeah, yeah.
Wow.
And the 2 gigabyte Galaxy Black Special Edition is 730. It was 600 before. So they've all gone
That's the
up
price of
somewhere
a PS5
between
Pro.
20, exactly, 20 to 25% increase across the board there. There's also an increase in costs of accessories and games. That's the biggest one's probably game. Like the console's a big deal. The games are probably the biggest. We'll get to that last.
Yeah.
Controllers and headsets now start at $65 and top out at $200 for the full Elite Wireless Controller Series
To be fair,
2.
Nintendo's got them beat there because their controllers are $95.
I
So
mean, yeah,
I just had to buy a pair, so I know how much they are.
they are pricey. I will
Ugh.
say this: I've purchased some kind of refurbished controllers that are uh, they have stick drift resistance, like the way that people are working on them. There's some really cool techie guys out there who will refurbish and resell. They'll even reskin with some cool designs. If you guys
Cool.
ever want links to some of those, there's some really cool kind of like independent sellers who are doing that, and they work
Nice.
great. I bought a few pairs of them. They're really great. Um, anyway, the games. Some of our new first party games will launch at $80 beginning this holiday season. So I don't see anything about $90. That was so far only Nintendo has talked about with their physical versions. Um, but yeah, $80 is going to be the new standard, I think, for games. It's probably not a big surprise
Yeah.
because Nintendo did it. I think we expected everyone would probably do it. It's just weird that it's going up so quickly. It feels like the hop to 70 wasn't that long ago, and now we're hopping up
It
to 80.
wasn't. Yeah.
So
Yeah. I think if it would have gone from just 60 to 80 and we skipped 70, like maybe like I don't know, does that feel better? I don't know. But like I don't know.
no,
It does feel worse that we're like, but we just did 70. Like we just did
I
that.
know.
Like what do we but everything is gonna be this, if you're hemming and hawing about this, just wait because all games are gonna be 80. And that sucks.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that that's a good thing. I don't want to pay $80, but like
same.
if it is the standard, like just you're gonna have to start treating your longtime hobby as maybe more of a luxury than
That's
a
right.
affordable hobby.
And you might need to downgrade that Game Pass subscription. If you get Ultimate, maybe you have to downgrade to the main console you are using or
Yeah.
whatever. Like those things are all possibilities. I think a lot of people are going to be investing in PCs. Not only are PCs more affordable than ever and more easy to set up and use than ever,
Hmm.
the Steam library alone and the Steam sales that you can get and the way you can use Humble Bundle and lots of other ways, CD keys to get cheap games, it's becoming more and more appealing. So I wouldn't be
Hmm.
surprised if a lot of this stuff continues to lead people to consider and maybe even pull the trigger on
Would it be
a PC
insane if
purchase.
PC became the most mainstream way to play video games after all these years?
It
Like,
would be. And you know what's funny too is I do think it's more accessible than ever. Like
I, I,
there are
I'm
things you have to
very
do
stupid. I'm
sometimes.
very
Yeah.
dumb, and just got a PC, and like it is going pretty smoothly. Now, don't get me wrong. There
Yeah.
are some games that Steam just sells, and they just don't work, and like you're gonna need
Yeah.
to like follow a guide to like get it to like launch properly, which I just
Right.
refuse to do. But it's not
Yep.
that hard, if you just follow a
And
guide
that's
and
not the
like
case for most games.
and it's not no, it's just some,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
like again, it was easier than ever. I've installed RAM in it. I put lots of new stuff on it, and it's so simple, and the internet's made it
Right.
very easy to
It's more plug
do
and
that
play
stuff.
than ever. And you're going to be able to afford software at a rate you can't on most consoles
Yeah.
like ever. And that's just a reality. So I do wonder, and I don't know for sure, but I'm just guessing that there might be continued growth in the interest. Because I know the growth, it's already happening. People are already
Yeah.
increasingly interested in PC stuff, the ability to build it or buy one that's pre-built and upgrade it. It's very appealing to a lot of people. But the folks who wanted it to be console style, there's PCs like that. You buy it, you plug it in, and you just go. Like a lot of them are ready to go. Um,
Hmm.
so so yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a boost there. But yeah, I mean it's a bummer. And if you're a Sony fan and you're laughing at this, I hope for your sake that your prices aren't on the way, the increases aren't on the way. But I think
They
they probably
are,
are.
and you're stupid if you don't think they are. Like you're
Yeah.
naive at least. Maybe not stupid. Maybe that's mean, but you're definitely naive. It's
Yeah.
happening. It's absolutely happening. If you wanted a PS5 Pro, buy it now. Which is an
Yeah.
insane thing to say, but like that thing's gonna be $900 here by the end of the year. I promise you. Everything has gone up in price. This is what inflation
That's
looks
right.
like. This isn't corporations. I mean, yeah, we can boil it down. Oh, corporations are just greedy and they want money, and I'm like, this is the price to do business. and this is what you're just watching. This is your first time if you're a new gamer, and this is your first time watching the whole industry shift into a more expensive place.
Mhm.
Welcome, yeah, welcome to the party, pal. This is what it's like.
Yep.
And just you're just waiting your turn if you're a Sony fan right now. So buy now if you're looking to buy a new console. Maybe don't buy an Xbox though.
Yeah. And apparently, as of yesterday, so we're recording this on the 3rd, as of May 2nd, it's pretty much the Xbox Series X with the disc drive is impossible to find with less than that new price of 600.
Oh
So
wow,
people
okay,
apparently scrambled to find all the retailers that still had it cheap enough to go buy one real quick before it jumped
yeah,
up. So it's funny they're gonna have a little boost in sales
that's good.
because
Yeah,
because of that. Increase your prices, you'll get a boost in sales. Um, and they are confirming too that while there are a lot of factors that go in, this is from Engadget. Um, possible tariff impact and inflation in the U.S., whatever else. But Xbox prices are going up worldwide, not just in the U.S. And that's true across. I
yeah,
mean, with Nintendo, it's
yeah,
hard to really pin it down to one thing. But if you were to tell
yeah,
me that X had a factor, Y had a factor, and Z, I'd be like, yeah, you're right. They probably all do. They
yeah,
probably all have factors. There's a lot of
yeah.
fear. There's a lot of instability. It's crazy. So, anyway,
And prices
that,
don't go down. They don't rubber band. Like we always talk about that. Like, oh, the economy is
yeah,
going to stabilize any moment now. Like that's not
not
how things
anymore. They
work.
don't. Right back in the day, you
Yeah.
would see like, oh, permanent $100 decrease on a console. Sweet. As it gets older, we used to
Yes.
see that,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
And like that
not
might happen.
anymore.
Like we're at the end of a generation. Like maybe it drops price, but like I don't know. Like it just I feel like that. Like you said, it that doesn't really. Not these days. It's not a GameCube. You're not
Yeah.
ever getting a GameCube for $50 at Target ever again. It's just not going to happen.
Yep. Yep.
Which boy, remember those days? I remember that forty
I
nine
know.
ninety nine. I was like, get out of here, dude! This thing was $200 when it came out.
Yeah.
So it's just like nothing in the economy bounces back. We got our eggs back, and they're still $10. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like things don't go. Things don't rubber band back to how they were a year ago. That's just not how things work.
I do think it's
So
funny that when we see consoles costing this much, and these are powerful pieces of tech that are very focused in on, abilities to do very specific things. So I get that. I'm not suggesting they're the same as a smartphone, but iPhone will come out with a new phone and you'll
I already
happily
love this
spend
comparison.
900 bucks and you'll sprint out to upgrade. And I'm like, okay, that's fair. Like, phone is your life. And that's
Yeah,
most of us. It's just reality. It's work, it's play, it's family, it's everything. So totally. But at the same time, the reason you're upgrading is probably not so you can work better and connect with your family better. You can already do that on your. I have an
yeah,
iPhone
it's new.
11 and
I
it's
want the new
still doing
thing.
fine. You want the new thing, you want it to run faster, be quicker, better technology. I mean, it's kind of the same thing. So I think if we think about video game consoles the same way, there are so many ways to play games. Old PCs,
Yeah,
old consoles, there's lots of ways to play games. You don't have to play the new stuff. So if it
yeah.
makes you upset what the new stuff costs, that's legitimate. It's a totally fine opinion to have, and don't buy it at that price. That's it. Like,
I
and I
the
have
game
FOMO. I do have FOMO, so I don't want to miss out
same.
either. I'm just saying, if that is a high priority for you, then yeah, it's just a no brainer. You know?
Yeah. Maybe there'll be a rise in more stuff like Affirm, where you're able to put stuff on like a layaway type of like payoff
Oh,
program as these things get a little higher, like we do for our cell phones. Because cell phones are, you said 900, like they're like $2,000 now for a
you're
lot of.
right. You're right. I was being a little. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're right. I was being really
so again, like
optimistic.
when you're like, wow, $580 for an Xbox, that's insane. You just bought a $2,000 phone a year ago
You're
or
right.
whatever.
2000. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You could
You're
tell how
paying
long it's been since I bought a new
you're
phone,
paying like
right?
$40 a month for 5 years. Like it's
Right.
insane these things.
Right.
So again, just have a little, yeah, have a little bit of an open mind about what you're paying, and yeah, it's
Yeah.
easy to justify a phone because like I only see a $25 payment a month or something like that. I only see the but like you are paying that money is still being paid. Like you
That's
are
right.
paying that top dollar, and yeah, maybe as we move into these things costing a little more. I mean, I bought my computer like on a firm and with no interest or anything like that. It was just what it cost. I paid it over 4 months and it was paid
Hmm.
off, and it made it really easy for me to enter that ecosystem. And
That's
I
right.
think a lot of things are going to go
A
that
lot of
way.
retailers will have that option for you for most of these
Yeah,
consoles too. They usually have some sort of get our special card through MasterCard and you can have 12 months of interest-free payments. Like most of them, just like buying an appliance, like most
Yeah.
stores will have that kind of offer if that is your main concern, if you're willing to do it to a phone, and if this is your primary hobby and you want to invest in it, totally, absolutely. I understand that it sucks and it's not the same as when you could just take, a portion of your last paycheck and buy it with cash. That was great. That was really
Yeah.
cool when we could do that. Um,
Right.
but it's not how it is anymore. So,
Right.
um, that being
This-
said, speaking of new games and new stuff, we do have a release date for Grand Theft Auto 6. We haven't had a release date before, just to be really clear.
That's right.
We've had a 2025 on the trailer, which we have always said we think that's ambitious. That's crazy. There's no way. Now we know it's coming out May of 2026. So we know
I
that
will
it's
say
arriving.
I'll eat some crow because I was very confident it was going to come out this year, and it said it as much on
That's
on
because
on
they
here.
were confident and they made us feel
Well,
confident,
I also think that there was a lot of like writing on the wall. Like everyone was afraid to release like their date. Like it was covered by multiple
Yeah,
like sources that like people were like, oh, we're so it's just like, and I know devs talk to each other, like what I mean. So it's not like they knew something that we didn't, but like there was just enough buzz where you're like, this is somewhat believable, and I can see. And again, they've been working on this game for like 100 years, so it's like I could see this game being in
right.
some form of ready. But like, am I shocked that it got pushed? No. Also on this podcast, we've talked all the time that no Grand Theft Auto has ever come out on its first release date or
That's
window or
right.
whatever.
But
There's always been a
not
delay,
not
maybe
often
two
do they have a
sometimes.
specific date that gets bumped though, right? The specific date
Sometimes
usually
they have
sticks.
four.
Sometimes.
I remember slipping, and five. I remember slipping, and it
Okay.
did have dates.
Okay.
But like, I think it was just one slip. I don't think it was like and I don't know if it was like 6 months either. I would have to look that up. But this is a pretty substantial slip. We're talking May now, right? Like it's mid May, May
Yeah, it's
20th.
almost midway through the year next year. So we're talking about a little
Like a
more
year
than
out.
exactly a year from now.
Yeah,
Which on my plate with what I've got trying to play and make sure I experience what I can from this year, I'm fine with it, man. And we've got Ghost of Yote
sure.
coming out in October, and I can't wait to play nothing but that and not be distracted or feel bad
I don't
about
want to feel
skipping. Like
rushed. Yeah,
I just want to play that game, and I'm very excited for it. And there's others too, of course, this fall that I can't wait to play. So I'm fine with it in that respect. Not that there won't be other really good games in the spring of next year. I'm sure there will be. This year's been amazing for spring game
yeah.
releases.
But
So
usually when we have a year like this good, and if everything does still come out that we think is going to come out, um, we usually have a kind of a slower year the next year. Like it's not often we have like
yeah,
two like super memorable years in a row. So it's like,
right.
yeah, put it into its own year. 2026 is the year of GTA now. Now you're crazy if you put out a game in 2026, not 2025.
The whole year,
That's
anytime in the whole
fine.
year.
The
You're
whole year.
crazy.
Don't even
Yeah.
do it. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I
hey,
agree.
and then when we get new consoles in 2027, we can all buy GTA 6 again on new on new hardware.
Those will be 900. Those will be 900.
Yeah, that's will be 900 for sure. Yeah,
For sure. Yeah, no, I think it's I like the release date too. Of course, it's gonna look great on a poster, 5/26/26. So like it's gonna look great.
yeah,
Like it'll be easy to kind of like print and
yeah.
make the font look nice and all that. So
I also think like
totally
that
get
makes
it.
it harder to slip too, right? Like that's such a like unique date that like 26,
Yeah.
26. Like, oh, we don't want to lose that. That's good marketing, like you're
Yeah, there was a
saying.
game that was gonna come out on what was it? 11/21. I forget what it was. There was a game that had was it Halo maybe? There was a game that had a really good November date a few years back, and it did get bumped. And I was like, "What a tragedy!" Because you
Was
lost
was
some
Skyrim
really.
11 11 11? Like I think Skyrim was something like
Ooh,
that. I think I'm
maybe
not 100%.
that'd be cool if it was. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean those things are kind of cutesy and fun for marketing and kind of cool. Obviously, there not top priorities, but I do like when that happens.
Yeah.
So, apparently, Rockstar employees have been quoted as saying they didn't believe the 2025 release window either, and that's people who are like working on the
Working
game.
on it.
So,
They're like, do
yeah,
they know something we don't? Are we going to start
yeah,
working
like
7 days a week for 20 hours? Yeah.
yeah, like it's coming along,
um,
but not this year.
I
So
think like the GTA, like the director of this game was like, they're being very confident. They're like, we go out of our way to make sure we over deliver on all of our games. So whatever you think GTA 6 is going to be, it's going to be bigger. And I'm like,
yeah,
shut up. Like, shut up. I can't, I can only be so hyped, but I
yeah,
like the confidence, I don't think that
I do too.
coming from this studio after playing Red Dead Redemption 2 like you have this year, after playing GTA 5 every single week for the last 12 years, like there's no bigger believer than me that this game is going to be the biggest, craziest, coolest, most forward pushing video game we played in a long time.
Yeah,
And if it's
agreed.
not, I won't ever admit that I'm wrong. I won't do it.
A couple of the headlines that caught my attention. South of Midnight apparently has had over 1 million players play it on Game Pass, which is awesome.
Good.
Although Compulsion is saying that its role at Xbox isn't necessary to make blockbusters, but I guess they're thrilled. Everyone's thrilled internally with how that game is
I
performing on
love it
Game
when
Pass.
a studio is
Hope
thrilled
that's
with a
true.
million. I
Yeah,
just please more of that. Like we just needed to sell a million to be happy
exactly.
about this. Yeah, like
That's right.
great.
That's right. As long as it doesn't become another Hi-Fi Rush thing, we're like, hey, thanks for the Game Pass help, but we didn't make a lot of money. It's like, yeah, you put us on Game
Yeah,
Pass.
yeah.
So
I
as long as
hope
it's not
maybe the
that,
deals have gotten better. I don't know. I don't.
yeah,
I wish there was a little more clarity on how all that
yeah.
stuff works because
Hey,
I don't
that's
really.
another game I need to get back to. I feel like I could probably finish that one in a couple of sessions. Maybe if I had just
Is that one
focused
not
on
too
South of
long?
Midnight. I think it's like in the 12 to 13-hour range, main story. I
Perfect.
think
So
I could be
perfect.
wrong, but yeah, I put a good chunk of time into it already. I need to get back into it, and I bet you I could finish that one. I'd love to cross a few games off the list that aren't just massive RPGs that are open world like Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 and Assassin's Creed Shadows. Like I need to have some more
I know.
reasonable
Is our whole list at the
games.
end of the year going to be these big dumb
It's gonna be
60-hour games that
crazy.
none of us beat at all? We're just like,
And
I hear the ending's great. I don't know. Like,
and I have a feeling. I know we are expecting the new Mafia game to be linear because they've said so. That game's
yeah,
probably going to be bigger than we think. It's probably going
yeah,
to be,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, crap. We're in trouble.
I know. I know.
Anyway, but anyway, Compulsion has said, because there's been a lot of accusations about Xbox and Microsoft um, mandating uses of AI, and they've got all their kind of AI tools, of course, at Microsoft that they are pushing across the board with all their experiences. But Compulsion is saying they can absolutely guarantee that AI is not being mandated for developers. They don't have to use AI, which is nice. I will
Yeah,
say this, though, as someone who has used various AI tools here and there in my regular job, it can be really handy. Like anything from edit this thing, give me 10 ideas on that, reword this for me. Like that kind of stuff is nice. Can you clean up this code? Can you uh, take what's happening over here and recreate it, but with this theme instead? Some of that stuff is nice. I don't want a completely AI generated game right now.
yeah,
But I don't want that. But if you can fast track your development time and people's work schedules and the stress and the crunch, if you can alleviate that stuff with AI
yeah.
tools, which I know that you can, then I'm all for it, man. Personally,
Yeah,
but
yeah, I'm with you. I know these are hot takes, but like, yeah, I'm with you. I think that there are good applications for AI, and I don't think that just saying the word AI means somebody is losing their job. Sometimes, sometimes it does,
sometimes
but we're not talking about that. Like, that's not what you and I
correct.
are trying to champion.
Correct.
Yeah, maybe stay out of the art for now. I think there's an application for that maybe down the road. But like yeah, data crunching and all that stuff that like who care? Like no one's passionate about data crunching and code. Maybe some code writers are out there like I love that job. Blah. But like they probably would love a little extra help, with this type of stuff as long as it streamlines and kind of makes things easier.
Hmm.
Games are hard to make, guys. Like maybe it's okay to
Yeah.
have some shortcuts like this as long as it's not impacting the industry.
Yeah. I love that. Apparently, Nintendo is changing its eShop charts to as one of many moves to try to hide shovelware, which I think is great. Um, a number of cheaply made AI slop games. Speaking of AI, that are often featured, and I know you've seen them. If you go to the eShop, I rarely look through the recently released because you have to dig through like 50 weird, garbage, dumb-looking games,
Yeah,
which again are fun to make fun of, but it's like I just want to see the real games that are just
Nintendo
released.
really needs to figure this out. I think that there's no way they make enough money, where they're like, well, yeah, this is like profitable to like just accept every Last of Us clone on our on our system
Yep.
here. That's yeah, totally AI art, totally probably AI made from the ground up. These are the AI stuff I don't like, and
Yeah.
hell, I've never liked shovelware, even if it was made by, you know, small, swindler teams. We don't need these types of games. Let them dump stuff on Steam. Like
Yeah. Yeah. So apparently they're going to be updating some of their charts, like best selling and things like that. So instead of like number of copies sold, it's more about like if a $1 game would have to sell 60 copies to match one $60 game sold. So things like they're trying to adjust it a bit. So games that are actually priced and are normal games outside of your free to play games for sure. But
Mm-hmm.
I think that's one of the charting methods they're trying to do. They're changing the amount of time. Like within the first 48 hours, people might be more susceptible to buy it. But after 72 plus hours, usually people can see through it and it stops being purchased. So they're trying, I think they're
Mm-hmm.
trying to lengthen that window. But yeah, these companies are able to churn out this AI slop. That's a great way to put it, and put it on. And all it takes is a handful of purchases, I'm sure, for them to get their money back, and it's worth
Yeah,
it. They can keep,
right.
they just keep doing it.
Don't give them a
Anyway,
platform. I think that's the way you solve that. Don't give them a platform.
agreed. Have some level of filtering before you let someone
Yeah,
post a game on your store. That's it. Just
yeah.
look at it. Look at it a little more closely. Anyway, those are most of the
Use an
things that I see.
AI on Nintendo's end to
Yes,
see if you know what I mean. Like, use
that's dude.
the only way to stop a bad
Yes,
AI is a good AI. You know, we gotta
that's right.
you
Yeah, that's
make
like
some
that's
program
definitely a
that like
subtitle of some kind of movie, right?
yeah yeah yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I don't know. Don't let this stuff in. It's weird.
Yeah. All right, that's most of the news that I'm aware of. Oh, one other thing that I'm playing before I ask you what you thought about Thunderbolts. We played a little bit of Switch Sports. We did like a little family game night the other night. We
Fun.
got Switch Sports and we're using our little Joy Cons to like shoot basketball and bowl and tennis and all that stuff. I understand why it got pretty mediocre reviews. It's pretty good, but also like it's not always super accurate on the movement. And I mean, not
Mhm.
unlike Wii Sports, where sometimes it's not quite right and you have to kind of learn the gimmick of it for
I
it to
think I
work
was
correctly.
such in the moment too. And like the moment's over. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't
Yeah,
mean that in like a bad way, but like the Wii was so of the moment. And like when you're
that's
trying to
right.
be like, we're gonna bring that back. Like I don't know, it just doesn't.
That's
We're
right.
not there anymore.
Yeah, yeah. Most of it works fine. Like the golf stuff was pretty fun. But for them, I mean, it's what you would expect. You can kind of learn what the movement is that it's sensing and sit on the couch and kind of barely move your wrist to do the
Yeah,
things.
I remember
You
getting
don't,
strikes in bowling just by like just
yeah,
quick little
barely moving. Yeah,
yeah
and just a little twist, and you can give it a nice spin. Yeah.
yeah
So you don't have to do what the game is telling you to do. How you have to use proper form and put your hands up in front of you first, and then
yeah
you don't have to do that.
yeah yeah yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, still a good time with family. It's still good, silly fun. I was gonna get Mario Party Jamboree, but it's like a full price $60. So I just figured I'd wait.
Yeah.
I know that's been
Well,
on sale before.
but Tim, you could pay $20 more later and get the
I can't
Switch
wait.
2 version with the DLC.
I can't wait for that. I'm looking forward to that. Yeah,
Why pay
for
60 when
sure.
you can pay 80, you know?
Oh, one other good one. Let's end with the positive announcement before we hear about your thoughts on Thunderbolts. Borderlands 4 is now
Oh
getting
yeah.
moved up, not delayed. It's moved up. It was going to be September 23rd. Now it's
Yeah.
September 12th, and that's
Well, they
pretty awesome.
got a big old video showing off all the things.
Yeah,
I don't mean to shock you, but it's more Borderlands.
it's
They
it's very
are
Borderlandy.
they are doing nothing to the
Yeah,
formula at all, which is fine. I'm not. I don't know who's showing up for Borderlands to see like the genre reinvented, you know. But like, I was kind of like shy. I was just like, whoa, they're really just doing more
yeah,
Borderlands. That's interesting.
yeah.
Characters look
They
cool.
did.
I kind of
Yeah,
saw
looks
my. I'm
fun.
like, oh, I'm playing as that one. You know,
Okay.
and that's what I wanted out of this. I just show me your Vault Hunters and let me like
Yeah,
pick mine, so I know exactly who I'm playing as the second I start. All the characters look cool, you know. So
yeah.
it looks cool. Yeah, they added more guns, guys. Can you believe it?
There's
The
a lot more
gimmick is
guns
still
for
gimmicking.
sure. I kind of wish they would add Bobby Lee to it since him being in the Borderlands movie. They've talked about that in Bad Friends a lot with
They
when he
have,
was in the
yeah,
Borderlands movie.
yeah,
It'd be kind
yeah.
of fun
I
to see him in
really
that
have
game.
him some redemption and give him a part like in the game, please. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah, no, that I mean, Borderlands are a good time. I'm curious,
yeah.
is that one that's going to grab my attention or not? I don't know yet because I
I'm interested to see
admittedly
how it.
only played a few hours of Borderlands 3, only a few hours of
Yeah,
that one.
I'm interested how it hits the whole like what kind of mass appeal factor does this game have still? Like, are people still hungry for this? You know, again, like with three, like people were kind of like split on three. You know,
Right,
and that game was just more Borderlands. So you know, like, are
right,
people over the comedy? Are people over the loop? You know, like are
yeah,
you know, like what's what is this game? How's it gonna hit? I am very I know I'll like it 'cause it's stupid, and I have friends who are gonna play it with, and
They're
it's
fun
just
though.
gonna
You
be
have to people have to get
they
less
are
serious
fun.
about these
Yeah.
games. They're just fun.
No, no,
Yeah.
no, no. Like this game's not winning Game of the Year. Jeff Keighley is not announcing this game for any award at the end of the year. I
Mm-mm.
promise you. But like
Mm-mm.
it could be fun, and if you have friends to play it with, it'll be fun. And it seems like it's going to be cross-platform. It's easier than ever to get into a game with a friend. You know,
Yeah.
they're just adding all the regular stuff that you would get in a
Listen, I know I
series
like
that
these
isn't.
games. I just looked. I spent 83 hours in Borderlands 2 on
Yeah,
PC. I know I played that one a lot with friends and solo, both. I had a lot of fun with that game.
yeah.
Probably about a dozen hours ish in the first game. Never finished it, but I did like it. I think I played it on the 360, maybe.
Yeah.
If that sounds right. Um, and then 3 barely played. A little bit on the PS
Mhm.
4 or 5. I can't remember where I played it, but I played it for a little while. Um, but it just didn't hook me. And I don't know if it
Yeah.
was
It didn't
timing.
hook a lot.
I
It
don't
didn't
know.
hook a lot of people. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I think that game is divisive. So.
I liked Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. I never played the
Oh, we did play.
spin-offs like
Yeah, I forgot about that one. I like Tiny
we
Tina
played some
Wonderland. Yeah,
Tiny Tina was fun when I played of it. It was fun.
yeah.
The pre-sequel, never played the pre-sequel at all, so I have no
Wasn't hot
idea.
on that one. I didn't love it.
Okay.
Different studio
Are
did
there
that.
any other ones? Are those all of them? Are those all the
Yeah,
Borderland
except for the
mainline
Telltale
games?
games. But yeah, those are
Okay,
the
I
main.
did like
Those are the
the first
mainstays.
one. I played the main Telltale one. I never played
Same.
the other one.
Did not play the
Um,
sequel. Yeah, heard bad
yeah,
things.
but I liked it. I liked the main one. That was a good one.
the The first one was great. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And
So
two, I mean, you paid the most of the best one, so
there you go.
like
I mean,
80
two
hours
was
on the best
so good.
entry is yeah, it's a
Yeah,
good time. And if hopefully four is just two with prettier graphics. Maybe I don't know. We'll see.
yeah,
Um, I'm very excited to see the tolerance, how much people are going to tolerate this game. So
yeah. Oh, real quick, I'm just glancing through some of these headlines too. CDPR shared some footage of Cyberpunk playing on the Switch 2, and this again could be markety, corporatey, teaming up with Nintendo. They got some money in the I don't know, but he is saying right now the Switch 2 is by far the best way to play it on the go. They're really excited about the way it's
uh,
performing on the
a
Switch 2
lot of
right now
people have gotten hands-on time with this game. Everybody has said they were shocked how good it looks and how well
on
it
the Switch
runs.
2.
Yeah, yeah. Whereas, like when The Witcher 3 came out, people were like, I can't believe they have it running, but it looks like shit."
Yeah, totally, totally true.
There's not a lot of that. Yeah, it looks like it's running on like maybe PlayStation 4 Pro, but like it's running really well. I think it runs at like 40 frames a second or something like that. I think it's not
It's
even
pretty
just
good.
30. So it's apparently very sharp looking in handheld mode, and it runs it better there than like any Legion or Deck or anything like that. So.
Mm.
Am
Talking
I
about
going to
drag,
pay $70 to play it again? No.
no,
but
Same here. Dragon Ball
but I'm
Sparking
glad that
Zero has been rated for Switch 2, so that game of the year winner for some outlets, Dragon
yeah,
Ball
sold
Sparking
really well
Zero,
apparently.
gonna be on there. Um, Last but not least, I have to say this just because I'm such a big Elden Ring fan, and every once in a while, by the way, even when I don't mention it, I still will dabble Elden Ring here and there. I'll still play it, roll a new character, jump into an old character, help my son with something on the PS5 as he's playing through his new run through. So Elden Ring is still there. 3 years later, still playing it.
You heard here he's going to get it
30,
on Switch, guys. He's buying it now.
30. I'm totally getting on Switch. 30 million copies sold, and that's before it hits a Nintendo platform.
It's
30
incredible.
million copies.
Yeah, it's probably about to sell 5 million more. So,
I think you're right. I think another 4 or 5 million
yeah.
just because it's on the Switch
I
too
think if the Switch
wouldn't
is
surprise
like
me.
projected to sell 9 million in the first year, half of those people buy Elden Ring.
I mean,
I feel pretty
it's a
confident about that.
major game that most Nintendo players have not been able to play unless they've got other
Yeah.
consoles.
Well, and a lot of
Um,
people who will
like
play it
me,
on. It might be the
I'll
place
buy it
place to
again.
play it on the go.
Yeah. Yep, I'll buy it again because I have a problem. So, anyway, all right. So tell me a little bit about Thunderbolts. We can actually wrap up with this. We can
Okay.
close the episode out with the newest Marvel entry. Which let me just tell you real quick. When I saw the Thunderbolts trailer and poster, I have found myself in that. Not that I think it's going to be bad, but I have found myself in that I'm not sure I'm interested anymore in these movies. And that's not because they're not good, and I might watch it and be like, I'm all in. I love all the Marvel stuff. I'm going to catch up on all of it again. It's just been a minute since I've cared, and I can't point to one specific thing. I really can't because I've enjoyed bits and pieces. I've enjoyed the Loki show and the Wanda show, and I liked Moon Knight. Um, Guardians 3 I thought was a good flick. Not the best Guardians flick, but I liked it. So anyway, I've kind of still dabbled, but I don't know. I don't know what it is. Am I tired of the IP? I don't know. I don't know what it is. So when I as I'm hearing that it's so good from most critics, and I'm curious to hear Kyle's take on it too, it is making me kind of go like my eyebrows up a little bit like, "Huh? Marvel? Marvel? Like am I interested in Marvel again? I don't know." But
Hmm.
what was your thought on this? I know you've stayed relatively plugged in to all Marvel things,
Yeah.
good and bad and in between. So,
This is the project I was most excited for in this slate when this was announced during COVID or whenever it got announced, where they were like, "This is gonna what the new slate looks like" or whatever, and I'm like, "Thunderbolts is
yeah.
gonna be great. I can't wait for that," you know. And then
Yeah.
slowly, as things started coming out, like this is who's working on it, this is who's writing it, this is who's shooting it, this is who's doing the music. I was just like, "Oh my god, these are all great names and stuff like that." You know, slowly building more interest and stuff like that. But like I've had a lot of tolerance for Marvel, but like even I kind of had a little wind out of my sails going into Thunderbolts, especially after watching Brave New World, which I thought was like at best okay. And I say that like with
Yeah.
like smug, like don't go
I
watch
know it
that
made a lot of
movie.
money, right? It
I
did do
get. I
pretty
don't
well,
know.
I think.
Maybe it did. Yeah. I don't
I
even
think
think
it did.
Thunderbolts is making as much money in the first week that Captain America did, which is a
Yeah.
shame. But like maybe it's because of all the mid movies they're putting out.
Could be.
And yeah, we all just watched Deadpool last year, and everyone's like, "Oh, I really like that." But like Deadpool had a lot of like secret weapons, like if that
Yes.
makes any sense, like
Yeah.
cameos and just having Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds is like that's its own kind of like almost kind of cheat code chemistry. You know, I'm not trying to steal anything away from that movie. I think that movie is very fun and very great, but like it has just a lot of things that they can rely on to
Uh-huh.
ensure that it was going to be a good time, which is just like rated R comedy and yada yada. I don't want to call them gimmicks. Again, it feels like I'm trying to tear down Daredevil, or sorry, Deadpool and Wolverine a little bit, but it had some secret weapons, if you will.
Of course. It's different.
And even like you can even say that about like people are gonna find me crazy about that, but like you could say the same thing about Spider-Man. Spider-Man people like Spider-Man because like we're like, oh, I like all these actors and they're back. You know, like that. A lot of that movie was kind of hijacking like nostalgia and utilizing cameos and like making sure William Defoe was awesome. Like
Hmm.
you know, and I'm not saying that movie was not good or anything like that, but like again, it feels kind of like a cheat code sometimes.
Yeah.
Uh, Thunderbolts had a big uphill battle to like after a really lackluster, phase 4 or 5. I don't even know what we're in anymore.
Mhm.
It just had a lot that it needed to prove, and I think it did really well in terms of like being a very funny movie without relying on a lot of like cheat codes, if you will, or secret weapons or things that they know are going to work. In fact, they went to the well and got things that didn't work. Like a lot of people didn't like Wyatt Russell as Captain America, bad Captain America. You know, you brought him in, you make him really entertaining and such an asshole in this, but he's like very interesting and complex. You get Ghost, who like I could have never seen her. Who cares about any Ant Man movie?
Yeah.
You know, like
Like
just
it
who
honestly kind of
gives it?
seems like one of the most B or C level villains across all of Marvel. I was like, "Who?"
Yeah,
Yeah.
bring her in, make her interesting, kind of crazy.
Yeah.
You bring that Taskmaster from a movie that basically nobody saw. You're just bringing all these people in that you're just like, okay, yeah, the girl from Hawkeye, and
Yeah.
I don't care if
Black
it's
Widow.
Florence Pugh or not, but like you're just like this girl, she's gonna lead the whole movie. Like it's
She's
just
clearly the
there's a lot
face
of
of it, right? Is it fair to say
it's
she's the
definitely her movie.
centerpiece?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
definitely her
Yeah.
movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it just had a lot that I had to prove, and I think it did really well. I mean, Florence Pugh is an amazing actress. David Harbour's at
Yeah.
11 the entire movie. They just let him do whatever the hell they wanted to. I mean,
Hey,
it seems like
Black
he
Widow to
riffed a
me
lot of
wasn't
his
an
lines.
amazing flick, but they were both great in it. So,
Florence Pugh's like the greatest actress working right now. I mean, she's
she's
phenomenal.
really
And this
good.
this movie puts like the actors have to act in this movie. Like yes,
Yeah.
there's a lot of like jabs and funny. It's probably one of the funniest Marvel movies in a long time. The comedy is very outstanding in this. The action
Good.
is very good. It's like Shang-Chi good, where it's just like you're just letting this
Ooh.
action sequence like breathe without all these edits and without too much
Yeah.
CGI and stuff
Shang-Chi
like
was
that.
fun.
Very fun. Yeah, there is that that has a lot of things working for it in its humor and its action. But again, it's the characters that you made me really care about, and like there's really like
Mm.
tender, heartwarming stuff in this movie. That's like I don't know, like tackle themes of like depression and solving things together as a family, and yeah, it's all kind of sound like blowhardy things as bullet notes, but when you're watching the movie, like there's an impact to some of these things that they're talking about
Hmm.
that I don't know are interesting, and like you're actually saying something like with your movie, and it just not ending in some, even though it kind of does, and not ending in some giant CG monster fight or whatever. You actually have something to say and something that you're trying to like convey with this movie. It's good. It's a good movie. I don't know if it fixes you know what I mean? Like I don't if you're
Yeah.
who's like I don't know, like do I care? I don't know. I don't know if this like brings you out of that rut. I don't know if it has that power.
Yeah.
But I will say that it's a very competent movie. It's definitely the best that's been made in a while. I like Guardians 3 a lot as well. But again, like it's the third movie. You're familiar with those characters. There's
Yeah.
a there's a thing that James Gunn is doing, an ingredient, a recipe, if you will, that he's using that's working here that this movie just doesn't have. Like it has to
Yeah.
create all that stuff here and now.
Right.
And I feel like again, it just delivers on that order
Also,
and
there
has a
wasn't really a bar for Thunderbolts. It's all very new. So like
yep.
it was a big question mark. Guardians 3, in my opinion, the bar was set a little lower because of the last Thor movie. Sorry, I just didn't think it was good.
I didn't like Thor at
So
all.
so like
Yeah.
the last time we saw the Guardians, I don't know, it was, like even
And Guardians
Guardians
2 wasn't
2.
great. Yeah, I mean,
Guardians
I
2
like
was
it
not a
more
great
than
movie.
most people, but like it's still very flawed and weird.
Yeah.
So
It has its moments and I like Kurt Russell.
yeah,
The movie
yeah,
just didn't really work on
yeah,
second and third viewings. You're kind of like, "Oh, okay. All right. It's not amazing,
yeah,
but it's still fun, whatever." So anyway, to me, Guardians 3 the bar was set low, and so when it exceeded that, I was like, "This is a good movie. I really like Guardians
yeah,
3" because so it helped. With Thunderbolts it's interesting because it's a complete question mark. It's like, who are
yeah,
these side characters again? Like what are they here for? And I kind of like that. I like the
yeah,
mishmash of like Winter Soldier and Florence Pugh. Like Winter Soldier's character and Florence Pugh the actress are the two most recognizable folks on that right
yeah.
away when you first look at it. And I'm excited that it was so well made and yeah, I can't wait to see it.
Especially after like, I mean, Brave New World, the Captain America movie, felt like a Frankenstein monster stitched
I
together
haven't
mess
seen
because of
it.
all the reshoots and all the like, and
Yeah.
it wasn't confident at all. Like I feel like it was
Mm,
sent out kind of to die. Like people were like, oh, just screw it, send it out, and
yeah.
this none of that stink is on this movie. So like, I just
Huh.
like it's that feel the only
I wonder if
stink
they
that's
knew
on
that too,
there.
right? A February release is not usually where you put your blockbuster, but May, that's where you put your blockbuster. So
Yeah,
I wonder if they kind of
yeah.
knew that.
Maybe, yeah, and then you have Fantastic Four coming out in a couple months or whatever. So it's like usually the
Yeah.
July movie does really well. I don't know, like who know? I just don't know how Fantastic Four is gonna do. Is it more Brave New World or is it more Thunderbolts? Like I guess we'll see
Mm,
here in a couple months. But like even Spider Man, like you were saying, like oh, it kind of was coming down, for Guardians, like it's coming
yeah.
off of like lows. Like Spider Man 2 was kind of a low movie too. Like I don't. We don't really talk about that movie very much, and it's just not very good. And I like
You're right.
Mysterio and Jake Gyllenhaal's fun, but like I haven't watched that movie again since it came out. So,
Yeah. Right.
so
It
like
had some
three
clever
had a lot.
moments, but overall as a movie, kind of similar to
Yeah.
Guardians 2, has clever moments, but overall it just doesn't really
So we're talking about
click
two
all
movies that
together.
are like, whoa, is it better than those two movies? I'm like, I don't know. Go watch them and make those seem like
Yeah.
people's favorites. Whenever they're talking about this post Endgame stuff or whatever. But again, like you watch this and see how you feel about it. Like I don't really know. I think it's if you're a huge Spider-Man fan, I don't see you going, well, I don't like it better than Spider-Man. Like you have your favorite.
Right.
So it's just mileage is going to vary, and maybe some of the themes in Thunderbolts like doesn't land with everybody. Maybe someone doesn't need a message about depression in their movie, and they don't want it there. There might be some hangups there. I don't really know. I don't have my ear to the ground on this type of stuff,
Yeah,
but
there's
like.
hangups with every storyline and for some people.
Yeah,
So,
true, true. But it's a well-made movie and it feels really confident. It is the opposite of Brave New World, in my opinion.
mm.
So, and just in terms of just
Interesting.
how
Yeah, you've
how
got me
forward facing
intrigued by
it
it.
goes.
I do want to see it. I do plan on watching Brave New World as well when I get a chance.
Yeah,
I'm
I mean,
curious about it. And
watching Harrison Ford scream a bunch is fun. Like I like
I
Harrison
love
Ford,
Harrison Ford. Yeah.
Yeah, so him like being like really cranky for a whole movie is pretty fun.
Yeah.
But boy, it's a
Dude,
messy,
I
it's a
love
messy
my
movie.
80s and 90s stars, my Harrison Fords and Kevin Costners. Like I love those guys. Like you put them in a movie and I'm probably going to check it out. Like
Yeah,
I don't know
I'm a
you.
huge. I mean, my whole my idea of cool was Indiana Jones and Han Solo growing up. So it's
Yeah.
like him dying is going to be a big. It's going to be a
Yeah.
big deal for me.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that's cool. I'm glad it's good, and I'm glad to hear your take on it. I know Jeff had a very similar take. He basically just said, "It's perfect, no notes." Like that was his take
Yeah,
on it. So
yeah, yeah.
I love that.
It's a good
So yeah,
time.
I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to seeing it. Well, listen, I think that does it for us this week. Next week, hopefully, Dan will be back. I've got a couple of different games and quizzes we can dive into if we have time. Depends on how much we want to talk about stuff we're playing. So we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But thank you all for listening, watching. We'll see you on the next one.